Glenn Clark Radio, talking about the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuff and things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Well, good morning. It is a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's intern Jake. Griffin's over there somewhere. Got a lot to do on a Monday edition of the program. Coming up in a bit. Orioles won 3 baseball games this weekend. Legally speaking, I'll reserve belief that perhaps things have completely turned around or anything like that, but they did win. They did happen. I saw it. It occurred. So we'll talk about it with our guy Zach Moore, PigTown Sports, the bat around, former Orioles farmhand. Also, has Rob Long shaved yet? He said he was going to shave as soon as the Orioles completed a sweep, which they hadn't done to this point in the season. Has it happened? We'll go out. Griffin tells me he's in Seattle, so we'll go out and check in with Rob. For what it's worth, if I were in Seattle, I still wouldn't be awake. He's already done a 4-hour radio show, apparently. Plus some other fun and frolic here on a Monday edition of the program. I'm saying I'm going to choose not to overreact. They beat the worst team in the American League, and the pitching looked really good, but they dominated against the worst offense in the American League. There's a limit to me saying, well, maybe this is the moment. To be fair, I think a lot of us kind of thought that maybe even though they were playing a terrible team, they would be plenty capable of losing those games to the worst team in the American League. And so I get it. It's pleasant-ish. You want to believe that, hey, maybe the pitching is correcting a little bit, and if you can just start getting some players back, then who knows? The answer is probably, well, it's still not going to happen. But I get it. It's too early in the season to be in full-on, I just hope they lose so they can get a better draft pick next year mode. So because of that, you're going to keep watching the games. They did some fun giveaways this weekend, and they won some baseball games. It's kind of purgatorial. That's the difficult part about this, is there's kind of nothing to be said. It just exists. It's a season that's continuing, and until something really matters in any way, it just feels like it's happening. Now, the micro and the macro, it can happen. The micro is the baseball games. And those just feel like they're occurring. Last so I'm trying to think of none of them were up against finals games this weekend. So there was no alternative. You were going to watch all of them. There was nothing else going on. I guess the one yesterday was on up against the French Open, so I did have to do 2 screens there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're going to watch. But until they hire a manager, until they make a decision about Mike Elias's future, until you get to the trade deadline and what's going to happen with Cedric Mullins and Ryan O'Hearn and Zach Eflin and Tomo Sagano, until you get to those benchmarks, the games are just kind of happening.
Les Mancelino's the guy.
Sure.
Rattle off 15 straight here.
Sure.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah. Like, they're just occurring. And that's fine. Like, again, we like the company in the summer. We're not really into vacation season yet. School hasn't ended. So we don't have those things that distract us. We like the company. The pitching was good this weekend. It should have been. The White Sox are awful.
Not Mike Tauchman.
It's true. The lineup was not good this weekend. It did just enough. Now, I get it. It's the lineup, right? Like, you just keep looking at this like you're really signing up for this to be your Major League Baseball team. It was a series that occurred. And that's the most that I can possibly give it. Honest to God. I can't say anything other than that. It occurred. They won the 3 games. They've lost games, so I need you to put 2 stars on that one as well.
Gotcha.
We had a debacle this morning. Intern Jake wanted to. He thought that we were bringing the board down. He forgot the rules. The board stays up. You challenge them every time they go through something like this. You challenge them.
You also want him on the right side?
Yes.
Okay.
See that blank spot? See where the overlapping occurs?
I mean, I didn't realize there was such. I mean, I feel like we can spread out a little bit more now. You know,
You
there's not.
just think they're never going to win any games?
I
You think
mean,
that's
why
where it's gonna
should
go?
why should I think?
You think that we're not
Why should I
adding-
think
we're
they're
not
gonna?
adding Jorge Mateo there tomorrow? You think that we're
Well, I mean,
not-
we can start adding guys underneath. I mean,
Yes,
like,
this-
and
the
we'll,
idea will
we'll
be that
deal
we-
with
that we will.
we'll deal with the space issue.
The
when
idea is
when if we get
yes,
there.
we will. We have to leave space here, so we can only do 1 row there. So
No, yeah.
The idea is, believe it or not, I've done this.
No, yeah.
Believe it or not,
I mean,
know
so
a
have
thing or
I.
two about
Right?
it. Have you though? Because it seems
I was
like
here
you
last year.
haven't. It seems like you don't know what you're doing. It seems like
Well,
you.
it was kind of fun last year because
Yeah, it was. It was
we had to reorganize it every day. So
for a while anyway. It was more fun.
This time we're like reorganizing it once a week.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, did you not write down? Yeah.
I'm putting the
Write
dates
down.
so we
Apparently
just because it's
you
fun.
didn't write down the date for Charlie Morton last week either.
Well, that's a new one.
That's the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we
that's
gotta
the,
kind
new
of have to
printed
go
one.
back in time actually.
No.
What day did
Cut.
Eflin pitch? Yes.
Friday.
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 They're all the same game.
They're not. They are not.
That was
Mateo was
the-
Saturday. Morton was yesterday. Yes, 3 going up on the board for the weekend. Zach Eflin was fantastic on Friday, again, with the qualification that he should be. He should be fantastic in these circumstances. It was a really weird game. I was there for that one. Like, the crowd losing their mind on the sack fly because you just desperately wanted to see them score a run. That was tough. It was almost unpleasant. I was like, oh, God, is this where we are? Like, this necessitates, like, a golf clap. Like, okay, you got the run home. That's nice. The double steal was actually cool, right? Like, hey, it's sort of a reminder of both things. Like, you better do this because you're probably not bringing the run home either way. Like, I dug it. It was fun, but it was still rough. So, yeah, Zach Eflin goes up first. 7 shutout innings. Just 5 base runners, 4 hits, 1 walk over the course of his 7 innings on Friday as the Orioles got the 2-1 win to open up the series. So Zach Eflin is the first on the board. And then on Saturday, it was a bit more difficult to make the choice. Dean Kramer was very good. But again, with the qualification being that you were facing the White Sox, and he wasn't as good as Zach Eflin was, he put 8 runners on over 6 innings, which certainly isn't bad, but doesn't demand being the one to reach the board.
Yeah, but he was getting ready to fight the White Sox as well. You know,
Right.
he
Well, everybody
willing
was,
to-
including, of course, Kobe Mayo.
Yeah, so maybe it should have been Kobe Mayo. Is that
Yeah, somebody brought that up. Like, I just liked his fire. Yeah, I'm in a weird place. Like, the baseball people in my life are like, I love that. I love that. That's what I'm like. Yeah, you and I are gonna separate there. That's a little hardo. Like, if you want to say, hey, it was a cheeky attempt to try to bail yourself out of
Getting hung up. I mean,
being in a rundown, being caught in a rundown. Fine. Obviously, I think he did the right thing there because by running, you're trying to make sure that the run scores in that spot. So, like, I'm not.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody would say, like,
he shouldn't have gotten no.
We'll get to a Heston Kerstag conversation later on in the program.
Do we have to?
Oh, he's going to show up. We do a segment on Mondays, and he's going to be very high on that list. But I don't think that was the wrong thing in that spot. I think that was exactly what you're supposed to do. As far as him leaning in and trying to create the contact, it was a little cartoonish.
Well, it was weird. It was just weird how the umpire didn't make it. Like, he should have called him out immediately, right?
Yeah, but
like,
we have a problem in baseball where, like, we don't ever call anyone out of the base paths. Ever.
Oh, well, they did yesterday in the college baseball.
Did they?
Yeah,
Good for them.
which was
a
horrible call, actually.
But what exactly happened over on this side here? I got some questions about it. Did you?
I can clean that up.
Did you fail first grade cutting?
I failed a lot of first grade
All right,
classes.
fair enough.
What, we didn't look into that one before we brought
no,
it in.
we probably should have vetted that.
Look
a little
up
Can he copy and paste?
the first grade transcripts.
Skills. Jorge Mateo not only had his first home run of the season, which everybody would say, yeah, but that was the wind blowing it out. Sure, but it didn't blow out anybody else's. Here's what I know. If it was just the wind, you would think that maybe somebody else would have hit a home run at some point during the course of the day. Jorge Mateo actually reached base every time he came to the plate on Saturday, as he also had 2 walks.
Couple stolen base. Was that 2?
that?
Did he have 2 on Saturday or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He had 2 on Saturday. And looked fairly competent in center field. I don't want to say anything more than that. I'm not trying to suggest that he's actually a center fielder. This is a good idea or anything along those lines, but somebody's got to play. And then yesterday,
Charles Morton.
I don't know, man. Like, I really don't know what to say about it. The word is that he thinks he fixed something during the Anaheim trip. That he mechanically...
He went to Disneyland and calmed down.
Yeah, right? Yeah, he had a churro, right? He mechanically believes that he fixed something. I hope... we'll ask Zach what he thinks about that. He's obviously been very good his last couple appearances out of the bullpen, and now back-to-back outstanding starts. Do I believe Charlie Morton's fixed? No. Do I believe that if you could just get a few more good starts out of him, then, like, he's definitely a mercenary that could be dealt at the deadline for anything that you could possibly get? Oh, yeah. So you hope that even if it's not, like, fixed, that he just continues to get results, because he's definitely gone at the deadline if this doesn't dramatically turn around. So, yeah, 3 for the weekend to go up on the board. And the big news is the board stays, because if they had lost the series this weekend, the board was going to be gone. So we'll revisit again. If they go out to Seattle and they get swept, then we'll put them on the clock again this weekend. If they lose 2 out of 3 in Seattle, and where do they go they go to Sacramento. Nowhere. They go nowhere.
They go to Athletic Land.
Yes, they go to a place in your heart. If they lose 2 out of 3 in both spots, that might be enough for me to say, yep, the board's gone. I think they're going to have to play 500 or better this week in order for me to keep the board.
If they go 2-4, it's done.
They go 2-4 this week, I think we're taking the board down.
What if but it's the last 2 games in Oakland, in Sacramento. There
is no Oakland. There is no Sacramento. You got to keep that. There is nowhere. Like, it's just an imaginary place in your heart. That's what we'll have to do in order to keep the board alive. But the board survives 1 more weekend, and 3 Orioles add to the board in Eflin, Mateo, and Charlie Mort. Man of the Match is brought to you today by Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. The NBA Finals get underway on Thursday night, and we're gonna be there inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel with tremendous giveaways during timeouts. We'll be playing some trivia. We'll be having some fun. I'm trying to convince them that we should do like a horse contest. Like I'm working on that, and I don't know if that's going to work, but there's just no better place. We now know, of course, it'll be Indiana, Oklahoma City for the title. Somebody winning their first title, a city winning their first title. We had the whole Oklahoma City conversation last week where they technically count the Sonics title as being theirs. It's stupid. But you're going to want to come join us every game during the NBA Finals. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Great food, the 100-foot media wall. So, like, for example, Thursday night when the Orioles are playing out in – no, did they play an afternoon game in Seattle or is it a night game in Seattle?
We got Thursday is 3:40.
3:40.
Yes.
All right, so that's not going to be an issue on Thursday. But when there's one of those nights where there's multiple things going on, you can also watch all of those on that 100-foot media wall as well inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Yeah, obviously the Orioles got the majority of my attention this week. Brian Powell was trying to convince me I should have been watching more of the college baseball, and
I should have been too.
following it.
I watched a good bit, and I still missed. I still felt like I was missing out on a lot of the
how does
action.
that work? Because you had Vanderbilt, and I had the field. So obviously I won.
We should have made you pick. Well, you should have picked
won.
somebody.
So what do I get?
Nothing.
remember how that
Nothing. Murray State's my new team. So that's where I'm at.
Is Wright State still in, or did they get eliminated?
They, I believe, did get eliminated. They're the ones who eliminated Van. Yeah, Louisville ended up beating
What
them.
about Little Rock? Is Little Rock
Little Rock is
alive?
still. They got a Game 7 tonight against LSU. Little Rock and LSU. So that'll be Ben McDonald on the call as well. So
Ooh, how
that'll
about
be
that?
a good one.
How about that? Yeah, I won't be watching. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just not gonna lie. I don't.
What are you gonna be watching tonight? You're gonna be
Well, we
watching
have
Raw.
trivia.
Okay.
Yeah, we have Monday Night Trivia. So
Monday Night Raw.
if there's, oh yeah, well, no, I don't watch Raw on Mondays. You know that. I've never
That's right.
watched
It's
Raw
Monday
on
Night Raw,
Mondays
so you watch it Tuesdays.
in
yeah,
my
so
life. Correct. It's never. I mean, not in my life. In 20 years, I haven't watched Raw on a Monday, and I'm not gonna start today. But I get it. Like there was a lot of drama in the NCAA baseball tournament, so that's cool. The French Open got the majority of my attention this weekend.
Americans doing well.
Yeah, well, fairly well until Jessie Pegula laid an egg today.
Who was she playing this morning?
She was playing Boisson, who is
okay.
a qualifier.
But Coco won, right? Yeah.
Coco's good.
Tommy
Maddie Keys or Haley Baptiste is about to advance to the round of
Tommy Paul keeps winning
as well. What's that?
Tommy Paul keeps winning.
Who?
Tommy Paul.
Tommy Paul, yes. Tommy Paul is into the quarterfinals, as is Maryland's own Francis Tiafoe. Into the quarterfinals tomorrow. So
where did Haley Baptiste come from?
She's always kind of like
I never heard of her until this week.
Yeah, no, she's been around for a couple of years, and she's just always kind of been someone. She's from Northern Virginia, if I remember correctly. She was actually DC, not Northern Virginia. Where did she go to high school?
So she's one of ours.
High school? No, not remotely. We are not. We're not doing that bit. Haley Baptiste. Where did she go to high school? That's my question, and I don't.
Juniors.
She went to.
I don't know.
Apparently, she went to Lassiter High School in Marietta, Georgia. So she apparently left the area to go to high school. So there's that. The moral of the story being she's from D.C., and so I know she and Francis Tiafoe are actually very close. Francis's brother is part of her coaching team. This is by far her best run ever at a slam. She had previously not gotten farther than the second round at any slam, and has a chance here to push Madison Keys to a third set. So, it's been a pretty good run for Americans at the French Open, and that got a lot of my attention. On Saturday night, I went to see the Dave Matthews Band, so I didn't really get to watch any of Indiana, New York. I didn't miss a lot.
Nah.
That Indiana pretty methodically took care of the Knicks and moved on. I am a bit surprised.
Thomas Bryant is a pacer, which I learned on Saturday
Thomas
night.
Bryant is a pacer. There was somebody else that I learned was a pacer during the series. I was like, really? Hang on a second. There was somebody else. Not that I really care about Thomas Bryant in any way, but there was somebody else that I was like, I didn't realize that person was a pacer either. Hang on. I'll tell you exactly who it was. It was... Maybe I won't tell you exactly who. Oh, Tony Bradley's a pacer as well. And I was like, how about that? I'm a bit surprised by how heavy Oklahoma City is as a favorite in the NBA Finals. Which isn't to say I don't think they should be favored. Of course, I think Oklahoma City should be favored. But minus 750?
Oh my gosh. I didn't know it was that. I didn't know it was
That's
that
outrageous.
large.
And I get it. Like, do I think Oklahoma City is definitively better than Indiana? I do. But that number is wild to me, and it leaves Indiana at plus 530 where you're like, man, I guess it's worth it. Like, in a scenario where there's just two teams left, it feels like if you can get one of them at 530, you're like, why not dip a little bit into that? Like, that was outrageous to me when I saw that.
So Halliburton's plus 700 to be the MVP. So is that what you take instead? As
Halliburton's what?
Plus 700 to be the Finals MVP.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if that's what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, that's the argument is that you always take the. Like, you can get SGA at minus 550 instead of minus 750 on the Thunder, so that's probably a better bet, but it's still not a good one because it's minus 550. So, yeah, if you're going to go that route, sure, go all the way and take Halliburton.
Well, hold on, this might be clever. If you parlay SGA and the Thunder to win.
Oh, yeah, what do you get down to, like?
Oh, it doesn't even let you parlay.
Oh. You'd still probably be getting down to, like,
I think it'd be
minus 500.
Yeah. No, I think it'd be. Well, yeah, I guess, yeah. Give you a little bit juicier odds.
You get a slight juice of those odds. Yeah, I thought that was crazy. But again, I get it. Like, we all think the Thunder are going to win. We think they're the better team, but it's also a team that's never won before. So, like, they did just get pushed to 7 games by the Nuggets a couple rounds ago. Minus 750 is an outrageous number to me. That said, they're probably going to sweep, and we're going to be like, yeah, all right, I guess that was about right.
I'll do OKC in 6 plus 410.
OKC in 6. So you clearly, if you think that that's going 6, then you definitely don't think they should be minus 750. What are the odds for the various scenarios?
OKC sweep is plus 330. The
Okay.
lowest, the lowest odds is plus 210. OKC in 5.
OKC in 5 is the favorite
Yes.
at plus 210.
Yes. Then if you think the Pacers are going to sweep, plus 5,000.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. All right, let's get back to some Orioles conversation this morning. You, of course, know him. He's part of the Bat Around here at Press Box. He is a former Orioles minor leaguer, and he's a creator himself, PigTown Sports. Our buddy Zach Moore is back with us this morning here on GCR. Zach, what's going on, man? How was your weekend?
Brian, it was really good. How you been?
I've been all right, buddy. I don't know. I just said this early on in the show. Charlie Morton believes he has fixed himself mechanically. He says something happened while he was out in Anaheim. It led to him being fixed. We've all seen the results. You tell me, do you believe mechanically this is a different Charlie Morton and one that could be of value either if miraculously the Orioles put together some sort of run, which I still think is not going to happen, or perhaps as a trade chip somehow?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think he's fixed himself. He's blown the front side a little too early on in the season. Arm was kind of lagging behind him a little bit, and it seemed to kind of catch up. I mean, he says he decided to kind of slow everything down, which, I mean, if it's in sync now, whatever he did, great. It's good to see. This is kind of, I think, what at least Mike expected to see when he signed him. So, if anything, I mean, he's there to, teach some value to these young guys that you can get hit around a little bit and still figure it out and be successful in this league.
I saw something that you said yesterday and I think it was Matt Wyrick who wrote the story about, is it possible that maybe the Orioles don't trade guys at the deadline and instead try to extend them qualifying offers? And I saw your response, and is that actually the number? Last year the number was $21 million, correct, for a qualifying offer?
Yeah, I was thinking it was 25 for some reason, but either way, I mean, 21 for some of the guys on that list outside of Eflin is a little high. In my opinion,
it's funny because Reed and I had this conversation last week, Zach. I'm in a weird place where I think everybody assumes that O'Hearn, just has to be gone. But I wonder if there is anything at all to be said for maybe this guy really is maybe he's not just performing so above his head that you absolutely have to trade him because he's clearly swimming in waters. Like, is there any conversation at all to be had that perhaps there would be value in trying to have Ryan O'Hearn remain on the team if you believe you're going to contend in the coming years?
Right now, I think Ryan O'Hearn is undoubtedly the leader in that clubhouse. And if you turn around and just ship him off to try and get a prospect or two, I think you're going to just lose everything again that we're building back up right now. Ryan's kind of taking this role by himself, by the horns, and, he's leading by example, obviously. He, before Hyde was let go, he was meeting with Hyde in his office pretty much daily. I don't think there's any scenario where it makes sense to trade Ryan O'Hearn right now, whether he can fetch you a really good prospect or not. If you really think you can make a run, you got to keep him.
So, okay, but do you really think that this is the problem that I have? I don't believe they can make a run this year. I don't. I can't overreact to the way that they pitched against the Chicago White Sox. Not that I think Zach Eflin's going to be better. I think he's closer to the guy we saw Friday than the guy that we had seen in the couple of starts before that when he was working his way back. You're never, ever, ever going to get me to believe in Dean Kramer as being a difference maker. And I have no idea when you're seeing these other guys that we keep waiting for. I'm personally struggling with the concept of making those decisions. Now, I get it. If they do turn around and win even like 8 of their next 11 games, then, we're going to start having a different conversation. But short of that, to me, holding on to Ryan O'Hearn would really be only about we believe we have a plan to sign him. And that's the part that's more fascinating to me is there a world where it makes sense to try to get a 3-year, 4-year deal done to have Ryan O'Hearn continue to be a part of this thing?
I think definitely. I mean, if he's your leader right now and you don't really have anybody else in the wings or, really kind of stepping up for that role, you got to keep him around. I mean, even if he's a 260 hitter, like we know what he's capable of with 2 strikes and runners in scoring position and whatnot. Like he's that guy who's embraced the role and give him a 3-year deal. He's 31?
I mean, that's hang on a second. Let me make sure that's correct. I think that's right. Ryan,
he's like 30 or 31 or something.
Ryan O'Hearn he's 31. Correct.
Yeah.
And he turns 32 in July.
Okay.
So, I'm not trying to make it seem like all of a sudden, that means he's falling off the cliff. And there's a limit to what kind of deal you're giving, but I also think there's a limit to what kind of market exists for a player like Ryan O'Hearn because, as I've always said, whenever we have these conversations about, trying to trade a Trey Mancini or a Ryan Mountcastle, every organization believes they have their own Ryan O'Hearn.
Right.
So I don't know what the market is for a guy like that, but I'm more and more inclined to agree with you about this. It's funny because as I've laid out my scenario, it sounds like maybe you're not quite as convinced as I am that there isn't going to be a run coming at some point before the end of the season.
I think they do. I feel crazy even saying it, but you've got 11, we'll say 10 starting players on the IL right now and 11 total. We'll say Gary Sanchez is obviously a backup catcher. If you can start getting these guys back in waves, we hear we might get Cowser tonight. Westburg's not far behind. They're saying Liriano might not need a rehab stint. Carlson's playing well right now. You shore up that outfield defense, which I feel like has let up a couple runs that should have been caught. All of a sudden, and then, obviously you get the offensive production out of these guys, hopefully. I see if you get within 6 games at the break, which is really doable. This series in Seattle, they should take 2 out of 3 based on the matchups right now. And then you go into Sacramento, who right now they're playing as arguably the worst team in the league. They have like an 8 ERA or 7 or an 8 ERA over the last 2 or 3 weeks. They're the bottom 5, I believe, in hitting. Like they're just bad across the board. So if you go in there, you go 5-1 or 4-2 in that series, you're already sitting about 7 games out. You get to about 6, maybe 6.5, start to get some of these guys in, make 1 or 2 additions to this team that will also help you beyond 2025. The AL is very weak, and anything is possible right now.
Zach Moore is with us here on GCR. Zach, it's interesting hearing you lay that out because I am of the opinion that no matter where you are in the wild card race, you should be inclined to try to add controllable players at the deadline. Like this is this goes back to the conversations we used to have about the Rays, the team that was always coming and going at the same time, right? Like yep. I am of the opinion getting within 6 games to me wouldn't be enough to change. I would still be dealing away the players that I don't intend to sign that are free agents, right? Like short of maybe to Eflin, because Eflin's the guy that you're definitely going to extend the qualifying offer to, right? So short of that, if you're committed to moving on from Cedric Mullins, and I don't know that, again, I'm as committed as they appear to be, but if you're I was never committed to moving on from Santander the way that they seem to be. If you're committed to moving on from Cedric Mullins, then I would still be dealing Mullins at the deadline. If you're committed to, if Tomo Sagano is pricing himself out of where you would go, I would be like, that would be the path that I would continue to take even at 6 games. But I would be inclined to also try to make a move or two to find controllable help, because to me, you still have to clean up the mess you made last offseason. Like, you still have to make up from what you didn't do then to actually upgrade the team. So I'm in a weird place. You're saying that you're within 6 games. You're inclined to hold on to even the pending free agents and really try to make a run?
No, I would treat it like 2022, or like Detroit did last year. Detroit didn't need to deal with Flaherty, but they did, and they still went on a run. I'm with you there. If you identify something that Mullins can get you in a return, if you're that confident in Bradfield, deal him, because the rest of the core is still there. You get a controllable piece, like you're saying, in the future. I agree with that. Mountcastle, if you can move him, if somebody's that interested in him, go ahead and pull that trigger, because you still have Ryan O'Hearn and several others that can play first base. So, yeah, but treat it like 2022, where you traded away Jorge Lopez and you didn't need to, but you got guys back that helped you for the next couple years in Cano and Povich. I would definitely go that route.
It's a very weird feeling, right? Because this goes back to, like, it's still, you'd like to hear at some point, definitively, do they intend to keep Mike Elias? And, like, that's the peripheral stuff that's going on here to me remains more fascinating. The macro is more fascinating than the micro to me. Like, I'm watching the games because they're playing them, but the games are far less interesting than, hey, are you just gonna draw out this season, and are you definitely keeping Mike Elias? Are you definitely not hiring a manager until this is over? Like, those things to me are far more fascinating at the moment than I can pretend like the games are, Zach.
Yeah, and that's very fair. I don't know if Mike's going to rush into hire a manager right now. I think it might have been Rita said it. Somebody said it. Managers don't get to pick. GMs don't get to pick 3 managers. So if they hire one now and it's just, a dumpster fire, he's definitely gone. So he's really going to take his time trying to figure that out. They still have an open hole on the staff to hire a manager if they need to, and then everybody kind of goes back to where they were. I think they're really going to take their time. I think Mike knows, his tail's on fire right now. John Mabry's not a Mike Elias hire in a normal situation. So at least he's maybe agreeing with it and to making a change. And we'll see what that comes out of.
Why do you explain why you think that, Zach?
Well, I just don't think Mabry's never really been, when he was a player, he wasn't like an analytical guy. Mm-hmm. They had that old school approach. And he took it down to Miami too, hunt the fastball early, try to hit the ball hard up the middle. These analytical guys are always like, oh, we got to pull the ball with lift here, or do this, and when you look at the numbers in Miami, like, they hit the ball up the middle over 55% of the time, hard. And they were one of the best teams in baseball at chasing the first pitch. They had a very high average on the first pitch. I think he's going to bring that back to what we kind of seen early 2024, where the Orioles were really aggressive early in the count and, hitting the ball hard, not really worrying about hitting a home run, but hoping that kind of philosophy comes back with him. But, I don't want to say Mike hired guys to get away from that, but it definitely shifted between the guys that we had last year and then Cody Ashley and Tommy Joseph this year, where it was more just, let's focus on hit it hard, but it was like there was no real plan in the box. We've seen some guys take a lot of pitches, fastballs right down the middle, and then we've seen some guys swing real early in the count. It was just, there was never an identified plan, even with runners in scoring position, but it has gotten better since May 18th, significantly better. I think they're the 6th or 7th best team in baseball since that time frame with runners in scoring position. But I don't know. I think maybe Mike seen it, that what he was doing wasn't working and allowed a change.
Here's my issue with the waiting to the end of the year to hire a manager is, in particular, I don't think this core can be a World Series championship core unless Adley Rutschman gets right. And Adley Rutschman isn't getting right. And I don't know how much better it's going to get with a lame duck interim manager. And every day that goes by, you're in this situation because of a lack of urgency. And I know the argument is that you always want to hire a manager at the end of a season because you want to have the deepest and best pool of candidates by which to find that manager. But I don't know that you have the luxury of continuing to wait. Like, Adley Rutschman is closer to free agency at this point. Like, Gunnar Henderson's moving into arbitration. And I'm not trying to make it seem like this expires tomorrow, but I think it's much quicker. Like, the damage of how bad it has been this year, and short of a truly dramatic turnaround, I don't see how it's not a good idea to get your person in place whose job it's going to be. You're getting hired because you have to fix Adley Rutschman. You and the staff that you bring in, you are here to fix Adley Rutschman and get this thing right, because that's the only path to me by which this becomes credible that they can win a World Series in the next couple of years.
I agree with you. From a manager standpoint, coming in to an already set staff isn't the easiest thing in the world. I mean, you have your own ideas. You like to work with your certain type of coaches and whatnot. If you're kind of just giving these guys, even if it is for another 100 games, that's tough to kind of navigate through, especially if you have different views of opinions on how to do certain things and whatnot. Could it cause some issues? Maybe. I mean, that just depends on the person. It's possible. It's tough for somebody to even want to come in mid-season. I think when Buck did it, it was a little different. But, I mean, not having your guys around you it's tough on a manager. Now, if they allow them to come in, it doesn't sound like they're going to allow somebody to come in and clean house immediately, but if they did.
By the way, for the record, that would be my answer. My answer would be, like, if you need to do it, like, one at a time, like, manager one week, next week you make your first like, for whatever way, because I get that it would be awkward to say, hey, you got to hire an entire staff tomorrow. Like, that's not an easy thing to do. But if you got to trickle it over the period of time to make it work, I don't know how much it makes a difference to a group of coaches that probably assumes at this point they're not going to be here next year. Again, is it possible that Tony Mansolino could prove to be the guy? I guess. Is it possible that Buck Britton or Robinson and Chirinos could win the job in a full open market in the offseason? Sure, but I don't know why any of those scenarios would be feeling desirable at the moment.
Right. And then, another thing you got to remember too is, like, Drew French and Ashe and Joseph, they were all Mike Elias appointed guys. I don't think Brandon Hyde picked them. If Buck won it, no offense to Buck because I love him, does he know enough people around the game to pry them away from another organization to come coach with him? That's my only gripe.
Mm-hmm. It's a fair enough question, and I don't know the answer to it at the moment. All right, so I'll wrap with this one. Heston Kjerstad. I'm in pure unmitigated disaster territory at this point. To your point about the outfield defense, he doesn't look like he even wants to be trying to play defense in right field. I mean, it's painful. And that's not even addressing what's going on at the plate. And then obviously when finally he did get a hit yesterday, my God. He
wasn't even that far off the bag, was he?
It wasn't, So what do you do?
I just laughed at that. I mean, it was bad.
What do you do? I think the answer is when you get a couple guys back, you're going to send them down again. But, boy, we've done this a few times.
Yeah, that hurts his value, too.
Yes.
At that point, he's, turning 27 in AAA?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough situation. I mean, obviously you want him to go back down. Hopefully maybe Mabry can watch some film on him and say, like, hey, I want you guys to work on this with him. And, because whatever they're doing right now, they did eliminate his leg kick a little bit this offseason. It used to come up near the belt, and the knee would come up near the belt. Now it's about thigh high. So I would say they eliminated maybe 7-8 inches off of it. It's still not working. They might have to revamp that entire stance. he's got fast hands. I think right now he's so in between with everything. Everything just looks so slow. He has no confidence in the outfit at all. I mean, he's got a pretty decent arm. He's got a little bit of wheels to him. Not the fastest guy in the world, but he's got a little bit of wheels to him. His routes are awful. You know, it's everything right now across the board. I don't even think he'd be here if we didn't have all these injuries, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah,
now.
I think you're right about that. Man, it's just a mess. All right, Zach, remind everybody how they can follow you.
Pretty much everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that. PigTown Sports.
Go follow him in all those spots. Zach, always appreciate it, buddy. Let's talk again real soon, all right? Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Zach Moore with us here on GCR. Appreciate him taking the time for us. I don't have the word. You want to do a quick version? Because I just realized let's save it. We'll save it. We just all of a sudden we
got a big show.
Yeah, well, we got lots of other things that we're doing this morning that I wasn't planning on doing 5 minutes ago. But yeah, we'll get to 3 up and 3 down, and it's not going to be pretty for Heston Kjerstad, man. It's it's bad. It is so bad. Look, I reserve the right to change my mind. If somehow they do start winning games, then yes, my opinion would change. My opinion would be if you are 6 games out of a wild card spot at the deadline, you're still in it. And maybe you could say, hey, the trend matters. Like if in the 2 weeks leading up to the deadline, you've won 10 out of 13 or something like that, then that trend might make you think about it a little bit more. But my opinion would be being 6 games out isn't enough for me to say you're holding on to guys that you know you're not going to sign. Now, again, my opinion would be I'd like for you to sign Zach Eflin. I'd like to not be having this conversation. You don't have pitchers moving forward. You have maybes. Like, I want to believe Grayson Rodriguez is going to be a quality major league pitcher, but the injuries are so overwhelming. I hope that Kyle Bradish comes back and can be Kyle Bradish again. But these are not knowns. You don't have knowns. So, yeah, I'm inclined to say try to pay Zach Eflin, even recognizing that pitchers get paid an exorbitant amount of money and Zach Eflin's in line to get a bunch of money. Okay, you're going to have to pay for pitching at some point. For Christ's sakes. When you don't draft pitching, you're going to have to pay a tax. So my preference would be not to hold on to him for a qualifying offer to try to get a draft pick that might help you years down the road. My preference would be figure out a way to try to sign Zach Eflin. And I understand it takes 2 to tango, and it's easier said than done. But until they actually sign a pitcher, my belief is going to be that the problem is more on this side than it is on the other side. I would prefer to sign Zach Eflin. Zach Eflin, at least, you would have the option of where you're definitely going to extend him a qualifying offer. So if you're 6 games out, you almost certainly hold on to Zach Eflin. But everybody else, and look, I'm listening to the argument of, I don't know what the market is for Ryan O'Hearn, but it's probably not robust. And I like Ryan O'Hearn. And Lord knows it is not working with Heston Kjerstad right now. And it is hard right now to... I'm not writing off Heston Kjerstad. I'm not saying it can never be fixed, but boy, it's tough. It is tough to watch.
Why don't we talk about the guy that it is working for?
Who?
Cooper Hummel.
Right, Cooper Hummel.
Undefeated in the Cooper Hummel.
Killing it. Just keep
Orioles
You can't
era.
quit that guy. You just can't quit that guy. God. Rob Long's going to join us in a minute. I did get a text from Rob Long. As you guys may know, Rob and I have this back and forth about how white the names are on the Orioles roster.
Okay.
It's not just that the team's white; it's that the names could not be white.
Where does Cooper Hummel come
They've
in on the
got a
scale?
Maverick and a Gunner and a Cooper and a
Adley
and an Adley and they had we had that whole Chadwick Trump debate because
Oh, you were trying to.
Chadwick seems like it's the whitest name of all time, but yet the only Chadwick you've ever known was not a white man.
He was Black Panther.
Correct. So Chadwick's kind of a tough one. They've got a Grayson. Like, they could not have a Jackson. They have the whitest names of all time.
Colton.
So I got a text from Rob on Saturday that says, holy crap, even the black guys have white names. And I said, Jordan Adams is a black guy? In a million years. In a million years. Would have never guessed it. Would have never guessed it. And he's right. Even the black players have white names. Wildest phenomenon ever. But I was stunned. I just said they called up Jordan Adams. I'm like, yeah, that fits the mold. That's about right. Only to find out it doesn't. What a wild turn of events. Who could have seen that coming?
Yeah, Trevor, yeah.
Yeah, it is about as white as name-wise. Again, name-wise.
O'Neal, O'Hearn,
Yeah, lot going on there. Speaking of white, Jeremy's not joining us this morning because he went to Ireland to see the Lumineers.
Oh, that's where I would go if I wanted to see the Lumineers.
Speaking of white. Rob joins us in a minute. It is a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses make golf fun and affordable. All 5 local courses, Pine Ridge, Mount Pleasant, Forest Park, Carroll Park, and Clifton Park, are challenging and fun for players of all skill levels. Book your tee time today at classic5golf.com.
Celebrate 60 years of America's favorite muscle car at Live Casino and win a new Ford Mustang. Earn entries daily and enjoy revved-up specials across our restaurants and bars all June. Cruise in Saturday, June 28th, and be one of 25 players to win cool trips, hot prizes, or a new Ford Mustang. Hit the gas at Live Casino at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now, and on the cover, Luke Jackson looks at the long road back from Tommy John surgery for Orioles closer Felix Bautista, as well as Kyle Bradish and Tyler Wells. Also inside, we learn more about new Maryland basketball coach Buzz Williams from the players who have played for him at other stops. Plus, evaluators around baseball chime in on Orioles' top prospect Samuel Basayo. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
Hey, coming up a little bit later on today, Stan the Fan Charles, Ross Grimsley, and Dan Duquette are getting together to talk some baseball. 4 o'clock this afternoon. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. If you can't catch it live, you can watch it at YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video a little bit later. Stan the Fan Charles, former Orioles pitcher Ross Grimsley, And former Orioles executive vice president, assistant to the regional manager, Dan Duquette, talking baseball with you today. 4 o'clock, as always, Stan Shows, brought to you by the Costas Inn. Madison Keys does hold on to defeat Haley Baptiste and advance to the quarterfinals at the French Open. And I continue to be distracted.
Should we just start calling this the American Open?
Well, that was going to be an American no matter what. That one kind of.
Well, I know.
Yeah, that one wasn't really like that. All
we
impressive.
should.
No matter who won, it was going to be an American.
That
so.
should be what we call it, though, I think.
Yeah, something like that. It's a quarter. It's 4 out of 16 on the men's and women's side will be Americans. So they've got that going for them, which is nice. Speaking of which, I always get these messages around this time of year. Our buddy Chad Lamassa messaged over the weekend, and Joe messaged and said, around this time every year, I really miss you guys doing the tennis podcast. And I said, yeah, me too. Would you like to pay me to do it? That's the way that it works. And so joining us now, the man who I believe of everything he's accomplished in his life, his proudest achievement was being the host of, if I remember correctly, the #2 podcast in the entire Dominican Republic. And he also does something for the NFL and NFL Network and NFL Daily. I don't know. It's a side project that he cares about. He's Gregg Rosenthal, and he is back with us now here on GCR. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Yeah, shout out to the Dominican Republic, too, because as far as I know, they don't have any well-known pro tennis players. So
right?
They were just in it for the love of the game. And
really?
then the love of Glenn, too.
I think this, because didn't we figure out that, like, we were big in Serbia, too, and that made a little bit more, we were like, okay, well, that makes sense, right? Like, of course we'd be big in Serbia. But the Dominican Republic, 100%, just people who love the sport. It was one of the weirdest messages I've ever gotten in my life about how well Courts of Thunder was performing. Not in the United States, in other places. What's going on, bud? How are you?
You know who is performing a lot of American tennis players here this week.
That's right. I'm in a weird place with this because I still look down and see Tommy Paul and Francis Tiafoe on that side of the bracket, and I say, or the draw, and I say, yeah, neither one of them's getting past Carlos Alcaraz. Like, this is fun. And I was having this conversation with Christopher Clary last week because I was talking to him about the Rafael Nadal book, which is phenomenal. But, like, I know the results have been better. Like, this does feel like a different era of American men's tennis because we didn't see a Grand Slam finalist. We didn't see regular semifinalists. We didn't see, like, John Isner made that one run at Wimbledon. But, like, I get that it's better. But is it really better? Or is it just that, like, it thins out a little bit more after the top? Like, is any of this group actually close to having some sort of a slam breakthrough?
No, you're probably right. You're surprisingly sounding like a little bit of a casual here, Glenn, because you're not a casual. You're a huge fan, but ultimately you're not that interested if they're not going to win big trophies.
No,
wait.
I'm still interested. You know damn well that I'm still. It's just I'm trying to be practical about it.
No, you're right, because the men's game has quickly turned from the big three into the big two, plus, we'll see if Djokovic can pop up, and it's so hard to break through them. I think Shelton is and has been the exception to that. I think at worst I would put him in like a Matty Keys category where he's got the talent where you just never know when he's going to pop up. But actually, if he's a 23-year-old player, and look, he's the same age as Alcaraz, so that's a little bit of a problem. Mm-hmm. But if you look at his results and how he's improved his game and even how he played against Alcaraz on Sunday, I think the steady progress is there. And unlike all the other Americans that have come up in recent years, I actually do think he has the game to pop off. He's not going to be an all-time great, but could he win a slam or two? I think that is within the realm of hope. He's a 23-year-old kid who's doing quite well.
I hope you're right, man. I don't know. It just feels like, and I guess part of this is this really just going to be that these two guys dominate? And I am more convinced that Fonseca will at some point join them. Like as remember how bullish I was about these two guys, I am equally bullish about Fonseca. I believe he is a slam winner. I believe that this is, whether it's a big three again or not, I believe he's swimming in those waters. but it really does just start to feel like exactly the way that you described it. Like, this is the group of guys that's going to be winning slams, and it's going to be it's difficult for Daniil Medvedev, who won one, to break back through into the conversation.
Yeah, you're right. I was live doing some scouting for the future Courts of Thunder, comeback in 5 years.
Yes.
For Fonseca, Draper. And, you never know the mentality of a guy. He's 18, 19 years old. But I've never seen a human hit a tennis ball harder or more impressively in my life in person. And I've seen a lot of great players in person than Fonseca, who's a Brazilian kid who's going to be great for the sport because everywhere he plays, huge crowds follow.
He's just, he checks every box in that way, 100%. I think he's the real deal. Like, I don't think this is an Instagram thing. Like, I think he is absolutely every level. You brought up Draper. Do you believe he's capable of breaking into that?
Yes, I do, because I don't think Sinner and Alcaraz are going to win each and every one. And right now, at this moment, he is playing at an extremely high level. I mean, it's hard to beat Alcaraz and Sinner in the same tournament. That's where it kind of reminds you of the big 3 days. Like, you might be able to pick off one of them, but that'll take so much out of you that it'd be tough to do two. But I think he's definitely the third best player in the world right now. So it's hard for in a young guy with a good mentality that I think he's got a chance. Certainly at Wimbledon, it'll be exciting to watch him with a hometown guy.
You know that while I would love for it to be Francis or Tommy Paul, it's not going to be. So the only thing I really care about on the men's side is that one particular person doesn't win. And I always get nervous this deep into a slam when Alex Zverev has been largely untested, got a walkover in the fourth round. Please talk me off the ledge the way that you oftentimes do, that Alex Zverev doesn't have it between the ears and can't do this.
Yeah, he's a loser. He's the Deshaun Watson of tennis in many ways, where I don't think he's mentally there. So he would have to beat most likely Djokovic. Although
Sinner, Cam Norrie just broke
in a row.
Cam Norrie just broke Djokovic to start the second, so just
Okay, but most likely he'd have to beat Djokovic and then Sinner just to make the finals. So no, I don't think there's any way he's breaking through. I think he's gonna be fine.
I think you're right. On the women's side of the quarterfinals, the bummer is that both of the Americans play each other in the quarterfinals, but the reality is, I don't think you can – whoever wins that match, and I'm going to agree with you that I think it's most likely Coco Gauff, but even if it were Maddie, I don't think you can write them off. I know the argument is that Iga is unbeatable on clay, but she sure as hell didn't look unbeatable yesterday. I don't know if she's truly unbeatable on clay or if she's just the deserved favorite on clay.
Yeah, I think it's obvious she's not unbeatable at this point. She has not reached a final since the French Open last year. I mean, that is a crazy stat. She would fall out of the top five if she loses her next match. I actually think that match that she won a long three-setter versus Rybakina showed some mental toughness where she's been having a really bad year and is a little bit of a warning to the field. But yeah, she's the underdog to Sabalenka, and the good thing for either Coco or Maddie Keys if they get through to the final is, those two players who are the two best in the sport, they're going to knock each other out. There's only one. You only got to beat one to the final. I think it's why Coco has been quietly, if not the favorite, close to it to win this tournament the whole time, because the draw just set up in a way that she was not going to have to beat as many good people to get there. Now she's going to have to beat Maddie Keys, and then she's probably going to have to beat Mira Andreeva, who's a great 17-year-old. That is not going to be easy, but at this point, it's funny. The women's game has really turned into what everyone used to criticize about the women, that it was just too unpredictable. Now you see the same names at the end of every tournament. It is very consistent, and so Coco's still going to have to beat a truly great player in Sabalenka or Iga. In either one, I would put her as the underdog if she makes it.
I would agree with that, but believe that she's capable of doing it genuinely. And the joy that I continue to have just that Madison Keys is real, like that the opinion, the shrug that I had talking about the American men, as you know, is exactly the way that I was talking about Madison Keys, and I'll never be able to do that again. And that just makes me happy, and so this all feels like cake at this point. When I watch Madison Keys, I'm just grateful that I get to watch her and that she fulfilled the things that we really believed she was never going to fulfill, and that, frankly, as I told you this morning, I'm convinced we're never going to see from Jessica Pegula.
I tend to agree on Pegula because Keys is just has bigger weapons. And the thing is, Keys, it feels like she's old because they showed a stat this morning that she's like 170 or 140 and 45 in Grand Slams, which means she's played 46 Grand Slams because she won one. I mean, that's a lot. That's like 12 years, assuming she was healthy the whole time. I mean, it feels like she's older than she is, but she's only 30 years old. So, we could still see her in some big-time matches. It's the same thing with Coco. I just try to remind people. I mean, she's made 7 straight quarterfinals, I think it is, or 7 straight second weeks, and she's 20. She's still just 21 years old. So to me, she is right on time. I never, the people who think she's going to be the next Serena, that's just unfair.
Right.
But can she be someone who wins a handful? If she wins 4 to 5 Grand Slams in her career, that's an all-time great career. And to me, she's on pace for that kind of career.
I agree with that. I agree. And I think that she could maybe even push. Honestly, I think she's capable of doing even better than that. I agree. The Serena thing is absurd.
Sure.
But Venus won 7, 8? Is that?
She won 7. She did
7.
it quickly. Coco's a weird one. I feel like Coco's always going to be in the mix.
Yeah.
And if there's a player like Sabalenka that's just playing, like Sabalenka right now has more points as the number 1 than almost anyone in history. I think it's like the top 3 or 4. She's just dominant, where if she's on her best day, she's probably going to just beat Coco, unfortunately.
All right. I appreciate this. They're going to tell me that I have to ask you something about football, and then I would rather not, as you know. That's the way I prefer to do this. But here, I'm going to present this to you this way. Around town, we're dealing with the why would it be different, right? Like somebody says, well, I still think the Ravens can win the Super Bowl. The response would be, well, why would it be any different than the last few years? So I'll pose it to you. Why would it be any different for the Ravens this time in the playoffs than it's been now for the entirety of Lamar Jackson's career?
Well, I think he's at his very peak right now, coming off 2 of the best back-to-back seasons a quarterback's had in a long time. I think the offense is more consistent. It's better than the Chiefs' offense, ultimately. You're hoping the Chiefs take a step back. But the boring, obvious one is this is how championships are won for teams like the Ravens that knock on the door over and over and over. Eventually, they often just get one. You know what I mean? If you keep showing up, it's kind of like the tennis. Like if you keep getting into the semifinals year after year, things break right for you. And whether the reason is the defense comes together at a better, part, or Derrick Henry is running the ball so well. Like I just think going into the year, they're one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the NFL, and that's a hell of a good place to be going into an unpredictable year.
I wholly agree with it. And it's also like I keep defaulting to and at some point, I get it. It never happened for Dan Marino. It never happened for Jim Kelly. But like it typically ends up happening for great quarterbacks. Like it's so rare that it doesn't end up just being their year. And I know that we just kind of breathlessly default to the Peyton Manning comparison, but it's a real one to me. And that like this is normally the way that it works when you're a great quarterback and you keep knocking on the doors, that at some point you end up breaking through, even if it takes to like the end, the way that it did for John Elway.
Absolutely. And John Elway made a couple Super Bowls. Like we could be looking back and think about the multiple Super Bowls that Lamar Jackson goes to. Now, you never know. Like Drew Brees got 1. Aaron Rodgers got 1. Drew Brees never even made it back. Right. I think Lamar, I don't know. The thing is, in any given year, the odds are it's not going to happen. That's the sad part.
Right.
And yet, I don't want to scare you, Glenn, but I'm breaking news on on your station. I'm going to pick them to win the Super Bowl.
Oh no, I don't think I like that. You son of! I don't think I like that at all. That's not a good thing.
You know what I did? I do for the first 5 or 6 years of Patrick Mahomes' career. I just picked them to win the Super Bowl because I was like, "This is the greatest player I've ever seen." First of all, he hasn't been as good anymore, and that's boring. And so last year I picked the Bills. Now I'm just going to pick a team that I would like to see win the Super Bowl that has a really good chance. And so I'm picking Ravens and Lions. Let's go Ravens-Lions Super Bowl.
I'd be in favor of that. That would sound great to me. I did have somebody present it to me. They're like, the AFC is just getting more difficult. And I was like, is it though? Like I know what you think you're saying because the number of young quarterbacks, but like, is there any actual reason to believe that like Bo Nix or Drake May is ready to step up and compete with those top guys. Like, is the AFC actually getting more difficult, or is it like the bottom is just sort of coming up, but not yet to a place where it's threatening the teams that are at the top?
Yeah, I don't think it's more difficult, but I just think it is. I don't think it's more difficult, but it is just more difficult because of those dudes playing quarterback, and because the Texans, I think, have a chance to be a really well-run organization with a difference-making defense that is in the mix in general. But no, I don't think it's getting any tougher. I mean, but it's brutally tough. I'd rather be in the NFC for sure.
What happens first? An American man wins a Grand Slam, or we get to stop talking about Aaron Rodgers, for God's sakes?
Oh. Well, that presumes that Aaron Rodgers goes away when he retires.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the American man. We're going to win. Ben Shelton gets the U.S. Open in 2027.
We're still dealing with this nonsense, and we're still dealing with it somehow, some way. Remind everybody about the show.
About the tape one, NFL Daily. You're saying you don't want to talk football in June. I'm talking about it every day. So, podcast, YouTube, wherever you can find it.
Absolutely. 100%. Go check it out at Gregg Rosenthal on Twitter. Love you, brother. Appreciate you. We'll do this again. Thank you, my friend.
All right. Love talking to you, Glenn. See you.
That's Gregg Rosenthal, one of my favorite one of my best friends, and good guy. I would love to believe that Ben Shelton can win a Grand Slam at some point, but that's going to have to be a see it before I believe it situation with him. Gonna have to. And as I've told Greg before, and I should have reminded, as I told Greg before, my problem, because he's been bullish for a while, my biggest issue with Ben Shelton is he looks like Jackson Mahomes.
What's your problem with Jackson Mahomes?
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine.
Where do we start?
Yeah. Not only does it make it difficult for me to believe in him, it sometimes, frankly, makes it difficult for me to root for him. Because I just look up, like my sons and my sons understand the jingoistic way that we watch tennis. Like they look up and they're like, oh, they're from America. They don't know who they are, but we're rooting for them, right?
Right. Well,
like,
that's how you're supposed to watch it, right?
Yeah, and 100%. That's the nature of the beast. And then
that's why I'm a big Sam Query guy.
They'll look up. Everybody knows that about you. You worship at the altar of Marty Fish.
I'm more of a Sam Query guy, but yes.
More of a Sam Query guy, right?
Yes.
Fair. That's a few people have told me they've thought that about you. They're like, that Griffin seems a little query to me.
No,
like
no.
Just seems a little.
The tennis player.
Right. That I said query.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you not hear me?
Okay, got it.
That's what I said.
Yeah. All right. Just
God.
making sure.
That was Drew Forrester level, by the way. That was.
No, Drew would deliver it better.
No, he wouldn't. What are you talking about? There's not a chance in hell that's true. Liar.
Drew would have nailed the delivery there.
Yeah, I'm so sure. I'm so sure he would nail the delivery. What was I saying? I was saying something.
You talk about the boys watching tennis with them, right?
And the Americans.
Watching tennis with the boys. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. So like they'll see Ben Shelton on the TV.
Okay.
They're like, obviously we're rooting for Ben Shelton. I'm like, yeah. But then I just look at it and I see Jackson Mahomes and I'm like, yeah, we are. But it's tough, fellas. Like, it's just tough to be fully committed to.
So, like, what if he's like? Who would it cause?
If he was
problems,
If he was
Draper, we like Draper.
Yeah, not enough that I'd root for him over. And that's the thing too. Like now, Fonseca would be the one. Like when Alcaraz was coming up before he had started winning slams, I would have rooted for Alcaraz over him. Now that Alcaraz has won slams, I don't feel the same way. But Fonseca, yeah, I'd be in a really tough spot there. Like I'm not saying I would root again. It would. God, it's painful, and I hate doing that to him because it's not his fault that he looks like Jackson Mahomes.
So when he's playing
not
Alcaraz,
he's not like
okay.
He's not. This isn't a cosplay situation. He's not like I want to.
He's
look
not
like
like
Dylan
Raiola. You mean? Like
yeah. Oh, and Patrick Mahomes, 100%. This isn't like you and your hero Mac McClung, obviously.
That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, you always said that. You were like, this is the greatest human that ever lived. And I was like, wow, that's aggressive.
I mean, yeah, he's up there.
You were very high on Mac McClung.
I mean, I'm not going to push back too much.
Yeah, right. This isn't one of those situations. Today's show also brought to you by the print issue of Pressbox. It is still available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox. Read it all, PressBoxOnline.com. And get it quickly before it's gone. Gone, daddy, gone. The love is gone. and it makes way for a new print issue of Press Box featuring a basketball theme that we'll be telling you about.
Tyrese Halliburton?
Probably not Tyrese Halliburton.
I like him.
If I
He's
had
pretty
to
good.
guess. Probably not
okay.
going to be Tyrese. We will tell you more about that as we get closer. We're still probably like 2 weeks out. About 2 weeks out from the launch of the new print issue of Press Box, and we will tell you more about that as we get closer to it. This man needed to talk to today because I don't know if it's happened yet. Apparently, he got up at like 3 a.m. to do radio, which is nuts. I guess he had to get up much earlier than that. Our friend, you know him from the Big Bad Morning Show, 105.7 The Fan. You know him from MASN. He is Rob Long. Rob, are you really out in Seattle right now?
I'm out in Seattle.
What
I am.
How do you function
last night.
as a human being with this schedule? Like, how is it possible for you to live like this?
This is just a season, 6 months a year. Then, you know, when it's over with, I get off at 10 a.m. and I'm home by 11.
No, you're not. You go coach basketball afterwards.
And
Why are you lying?
I'm back out by 4.
Right.
I don't know. You know, it's when you have
I get
fun
it.
doing
right.
what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do get that there are sacrifices you're willing to make for the fact that this is what you get to call a job. Like, I definitely understand. That's the way that it goes.
I sat in the Orioles dugout for the first 6 innings yesterday.
Yeah.
And had to lug my way up to the studio. I mean,
so tough. What? A miserable
I
time.
tell people all the time, none of my jobs come with a shovel.
Yep, that's a fact. Not digging
There's no
ditches.
shovel.
I don't got to do anybody's taxes. That's the way that it
That's
works.
I'd
All
rather
right.
dig ditches than to do taxes.
Yeah, I'm actually probably with you on that. So has it happened yet? Have you done it yet, or is it still to come?
I'm going to do it today, probably. You talking about shaving the beard?
Yep, of course.
Yeah, I'm going to do it today. Get it just off my face. I had several people tell me to keep it. Let it keep it going.
Well,
But,
I'll be the
no,
one to say it out loud. Do we really count a sweep of the White Sox? Like, shouldn't it have to be against a major league team that you do this?
Well, and my response to you was the Orioles only had one more win than the White Sox.
I understand that. I understand. I understand the reality.
That's you know, it's if we were number one, if we had 25, 26 wins, we probably wouldn't have my beard growing because of this. But you know, and by record, and we know we're better than that. We are. I mean, I did this on air today. Let's do the body count. Cedric Mullins out, former All-Star. Jordan Westberg out, former All-Star. Kendrick was out for the big part of the season. He was the big free agent signing in the bullpen. Got a runner-up for Rookie of the Year out. You have a guy who was second team All MLB 2 years ago as a pitcher out in Bradish. You got a lot of bodies out. And before you point to me what the Dodgers have out, the Dodgers are like a college football team. They're too deep at every position.
Right.
I mean, so they could have some guys out and still beat the Dodgers. Orioles aren't built like that. And I'm not making excuses for them. I'm giving you reasons. There's not many teams that can, you know, withstand what they have. Oh, by the way, they have another outfielder out who's a two-time Gold Glove winner in O'Neal. They don't just have guys out. They have guys with resumes out, guys with legitimate resumes. Cedric Mullins, he's not that guy anymore, but he's a former 30-30 guy. And he's arguably one of the better defensive center fielders in baseball. And you see how much you miss him when he's not gone. When he's gone. So they don't just have players out, they have resumes, legitimate resumes out. And that's just hampered this team.
So sell me on this, because I can't overreact to a sweep of the White Sox. And I get it. To your point, I'm going to say the offense still struggled, but, yeah, it's kind of like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, the offense, because, again, this is like a third of the guys that you think really should be there. Still,
right.
I can't oversell that part. I still believe the math is too difficult to genuinely believe, hey, you just get these guys back, they're going to go on a roll. Like, if they were 4 or 5 games under 500, I'd absolutely be a believer of like, yo, yeah, that's where you are. But you just came off a sweep and you're still 14 games under 500. I just think the math is too difficult to genuinely believe that it can still be done this season.
Well, I won't sell you on the sweep of the White Sox, but I will say this. As a coach, I've always told people, you don't apologize for beating bad teams.
Sure,
you apologize
sure.
for losing the bad teams.
Right.
Now, I will say this. They won 6 out of 8, And I am not concerned right now personally. This is my personal approach. I'm not asking anybody or trying to encourage anybody to take this approach. My expectations aren't for them to quote unquote get back in it. My expectations is for them, make my summer worth it. Let me enjoy it. Give me a summer to enjoy. When these guys come back and you start balling, you start looking like the Orioles team that I expected, okay, now you're at least giving me entertainment value for my summer. I saw 33,000 people there yesterday. And when I saw a pitcher leave the game, and Morton, Charlie Morton, who was stunk a month ago, absolutely stunk over a month ago. And when he left after the sixth inning, he left to an ovation because most people like me thought that was it for him.
Yep.
He comes back out in the seventh inning, he records 2 more outs and leaves the game. And he leads to a roaring ovation. I tend to believe that most Oriole fans do go by my philosophy. They didn't think of that team at the time 15 games under 500 before that last out.
Sure.
They thought of a team who had balled their asses off over the weekend, and this guy right here, this 40-something-year-old pitcher deserves my standing ovation. I think most fans are like that. Some fans, you can never please them. I think most people want this team just to play some good baseball and give them something to wrap up the 2025 season with. Going into yesterday, there were 4 full seasons left. 4 full months, left in the season. 4 months. That's a long time. And even though I don't know if it's enough time to get back in it, it is enough time to turn the season around and give the fans something to cheer about for the rest of the summer.
So Rob Long is with us here on GCR. Rob, I have expressed this opinion, and I would tell you that overwhelmingly it has been in the minority. Although when I bring it up to people, I start to sell them on it. My opinion has been that I think they should try to hire the manager sooner than later, not wait till the end of the year to hire the manager. And I know the argument is you want to have the deepest pool of candidates that you can possibly have whenever you go through a hire. And I agree in theory with that premise. But the unique nature of this to me is I don't, as I just said, I don't think there's going to be a dramatic turnaround. And so I think that makes it very difficult for me to believe that it's going to be Tony Mansolino, and it's not with any disrespect to him. And in this scenario, he would be a candidate. It's more about I want someone to start working with Adley Rutschman like now and to have more of a say when you get to the offseason on what it is that you think you need to do. And I think the benefit of having that person get in here, and obviously the easy parallel to make is Buck Showalter, but that's a long time ago. I just think that you're well served to not have a lame duck situation as an organization and to get someone in place that starts to set the structure, because this isn't a rebuild. The intent is to try to get back to winning a World Series next year. What would be your thought about the timing for hiring the manager?
My answer is a little long-winded, so you got to bear with me.
Yep.
The manager of the team may be on the ball club already, may be on the staff already, because if we recall, the heir apparent was Buck Britton.
Yep.
If Buck Britton is your next manager, you don't want his first job as manager to come in and try to put back together an S show. You understand? You don't want that. Because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I agree with you. You want to fix Adley Rutschman, but you want to fix Adley Rutschman as a hitter. So let me introduce you to a man named Dean Pease. Dean Pease came back to the Ravens last year when they hired a new defensive coordinator, and it wasn't working. So John Harbaugh, who many people had other candidates, he convinced everybody that hiring a novice, a first-time coordinator for a Super Bowl contender was a good idea. Now, when it didn't go well, he couldn't fire him because then he looked bad. So he brought in someone to help him. Cody Ashley would be Zach Orr. John Mabry would be Dean Pease. This ball club's problem is hitting. Bottom line, it's hitting. Every pitcher on this team who struggled at some point has gotten better. Hats off to Frenchie. We can't say that about the hitters, though. We can't. I think John Mabry is Dean Pease. He's coming in here to fix this because you can't fire a guy who you hired right after you just fired the manager. You can't do that. So I think John Mabry's role is bigger than just quote unquote consultant. I think John Mabry has a bigger role than you think. And, by the way, who knows? Because he has so much extensive experience as a major league coach, can he manage? Who's the most improved hitter from last year to this year on this baseball team?
Improved Jackson.
Jackson. Bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Jackson's hitting coach?
Yeah, his dad, yes.
Who was his dad's hitting coach?
Oh, yeah,
John Mabry.
Okay, all right, sure.
John Mabry.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I think John Mabry, the hiring is more significant than most are looking at. I think most people are glossing over this, John Mabry. But you really haven't dug into what this guy's background is. You haven't. On top of that, he's a Baltimore guy. He talked about yesterday of cheering for the Orioles back when they had Wild Bill Higgins.
Grew up in Delaware, yeah.
Who else cheered for the Orioles back when they had Wild Bill Higgins?
Yeah, right.
The owner.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I think not that anybody's told me this, but Glenn, I think there's more. Follow John Mabry.
So this is an interesting. I'm interested. Somebody's going to say you're doing the Brian Windhorst thing, right? Like the what's going on in Utah thing at the moment. But I hear what you're saying, and I do think it's interesting. I'm with you on that. I would let me spin it one further though. Can this job be for a first-time manager? I say this, my opinion, and as we all know, everybody's got one. It's like the other thing. My opinion is that this manager needs to have a little more cachet, a little more like chutzpah, because I believe there needs to be a little bit more balance between front office and on field. And I'm just, I'm putting that out there. That's the thing. Can it be a first-time manager?
Under most situations, Glenn, I would. If you asked me this 2 weeks ago or even a week ago, I would have said yes.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a guy in that clubhouse by the name of O'Hearn, who is becoming the alpha dog in more ways than you would know. His guy is John Mabry. And you could hire a first-time manager if
that
first-time manager spent 4 months with the team prior to you hiring him as the first-time manager.
Really selling me on John Mabry, bro. You're giving me the big push.
I don't know if the Orioles are going down this stretch. This is just
right.
me.
I know.
I get it.
You're
just me.
Right.
But I just don't believe that a team in the situation that they're in right now would all of a sudden just, hey, let's bring in a consultant. What?
It's interesting.
And then when I started, wait a minute, I know this name. I remember him as a player. So you have coaches on the team right now who, for the most part, with the exception of Chirinos, they can't really say, well, I know your struggles because I've been there before. I know your successes because I've been there before. Robinson Chirinos can say that, but Robinson Chirinos doesn't have the extensive background of a coach that Mabry has. Mabry's the guy that says, keep in mind, Mabry would have never made it 14 years in the majors if he didn't work his butt off.
I agree with that.
So you got all of that. You've got a guy that's worked his butt off to stay where he was. I got a clown for the minors to get to the top. A guy that's won on a major league level. A guy that's managed coached for about a decade. You got all of those things. And by the way, he has experience with guys that are on your team right now. Remember, if I'm not mistaken, he worked with Anthony Sanders somewhere too. They were on the same staff together.
Can I add one more layer to your conspiracy, though? Right?
What's that?
Do you think anything of the fact that he was on Skip Schumacher's staff in Miami?
I think so.
Okay.
I do think so.
Okay.
I think all of those. It's just too many dots that connect. Again, it's just too many dots that connect to me. When they first hired him, I looked on the surface. But you know me, Glenn. I'm never an order. It bothers me when I just look to the surface, and I start looking and I'm like, wow, man, wait a minute. This is just too many dots here.
I'm interested. I'm willing to put a tinfoil hat on and start drawing up the board and trying to connect the dots a little bit. I'll join you there. Hang on, two things we have to cover, Rob. One,
go ahead.
You can confirm you saw him in the clubhouse. Jordan Adams is really not a white man.
I was disappointed. He's not. I thought, I was going along with you and your names and
Bro.
What do you call it? The whitest team in baseball.
It is. They literally have.
I don't remember Jordan.
By the way,
I don't remember Jordan Adams from spring training. I don't remember him.
Speaking of whitest things, Jeremy really took a trip to Ireland to see the Lumineers. That's really somebody on that trip knows exactly how much mayo you're allowed to carry on an airplane. Like, you just know that's the case. It's the
Not
whitest.
Only that, but why would you go to Ireland during the rain season? I don't get that.
I think that's isn't that all year though? Like, is there a time in Ireland
I don't know.
where it's nice to be there?
To see the Lumineers.
It's the whitest sentence that anyone's ever said in their life. I'm going to Ireland to see the Lumineers. You know he's got friends named Jackson and Grayson that are on that trip with him. You just know there's definitely a Tucker in that group.
Maybe a Jordan. He might have Jordan.
He's definitely got a Jordan in that group.
Most white Jordans, aren't they females though?
All right, like Bill Belichick's old lady, yeah. Like, are all? That's a good question. What is the line for male Jordan? We you know what? We're gonna get on that. We're gonna get our team, our crew, on this.
But yes, I texted you. I said, "Oh my God!"
I couldn't
Glenn,
believe it.
Melly got a
Rob,
Jordan.
I was
and
not
15
familiar.
Minutes later, I texted you back. Said, "No, he's black."
When you texted me that, I 1,000% believe Jordan Adams to be a white man. 1,000% believe that was the case. And you sold me.
Clark folks has me checking Oriole roster names now.
They literally have a Maverick and a Gunner. All right, now the other.
Oh, by the way, I asked Maverick if his parents were friends of the movie Top Gun.
Yeah.
He said no. They were friends of the show Magnum.
Right.
P.I.
Yeah.
But instead of naming him Magnum, they named him Maverick.
I kind of wish they would have gone the other way. That would have been dope.
Magnum?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Imagine.
Well, if you name him Magnum, then he would have to be a black man,
That's
right?
a fact. That's a fact. You're not wrong about that. Can I use your Magnum? All right, now. Now, I have to ask you this. You're a man whose eating habits changed a great deal in your life.
Yes.
There was a story that went up at the Baltimore Banner last week, and I am so alarmed by it. Now, this, I am sure, is a wonderful business in our city, but I don't know what to do with this. The headline reads, "The dish, this cheeseless pizza will change your life." Is there any chance in hell that a cheeseless pizza could actually be good?
Well, there's two different questions. Be good or change my life?
Yeah, I mean, that
no,
part, obviously,
good.
that's hype. Yeah.
Change my life, yes, because if all pizzas were cheeseless, I'd stop eating
You
them.
never eat
right
pizza
now, it's my
again.
favorite food.
Yeah.
It's my favorite food. You know what makes the pizza? Number one, the sauce. Number two, the cheese.
Correct.
It's not the crust.
Correct.
The crust does not make. If you think the crust makes the cheese, makes the pizza, then you and I can't be friends.
Rob, I'm not.
The sauce and the cheese make the pizza.
I'm not as healthy as you are, but as you know, I'm healthier than I've been at times in my life.
Yes, you are. Yes.
When people ask me about, like, I don't know how regular. I think cauliflower crust pizza is really good.
I think so too.
I'm convinced
as long
that
as the sauce is good.
That's what I'm saying. The sauce, that you got everything other element. In fact, I think the only element that you traded out was the worst element of the pizza. And I actually think the cauliflower crust can sometimes bring a little bit of a flavor to it. Like,
yeah.
I'm with it on that. The idea of a cheeseless pizza, just that sentence feels like, what have we become as a society? Why are we doing this? What kind of people are we?
There is another place that has cheeseless pizza. You do know that, right?
Who else has cheeseless pizza?
DeSantis up in Perry Hall.
DeSantis does a cheeseless pizza? Stop.
Yeah, my buddy Mike had lunch with me one day up there. He ordered the pizza, and I said, "There's no cheese on it." He said, "No."
Why? This is a place called Doppio in Remington, and I have never been there. And I'm willing. You know, this is like me in college. I'll try anything. Well, not anything.
Let's take a field trip.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Let's take a field trip. We'll get someone to film it. We'll give our honest opinion on what this pizza is.
When you get back from the West Coast, we will make this happen, my friend. I'm down. You're on MASN all week and doing the show all week as well?
I'm here. We're off tonight, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from Seattle, and over the weekend we're going to Sacramento for the A's.
Yeah, very good. Love you, brother. Appreciate you. You're the best.
Brother.
We'll talk soon, all right?
All right, man. Take it easy.
It's Rob Long, 105.7 The Fan, Big Bad Morning Show, and, of course, MASN as well. We can take a break. It's okay. I purposely planned this. We can take a break on it. We're good. I appreciate your gumption, your This is the time. Sometimes I'm like, I could use a little more producing.
Right, yeah,
Griffin.
yeah.
This time Griffin's like ready to double produce.
Well, anytime we can like bank a break, I try to take advantage of that. But
I understand that. All right. When we come back in, I got a special guest who's joining us in the studio who's going to explain more because I'm a dumb guy. I'm trying to tell you how it is that I'm looking to improve my life, but she's actually like going to explain how it is that I'm improving my life. As I've been taking protein peptides for the last couple weeks. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that on the other side. It is a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. This August, the PGA Tour's best are coming to Maryland. The 2025 BMW Championship tees off August 12th through 17th at Caves Valley Golf Club in Owings Mills. See the top 50 players battle it out in the penultimate event of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Don't miss your chance to witness world-class golf, fan experiences, and unforgettable moments. Tickets are on sale now at bmwchampionship.com. The BMW Championship, where legends take the lead.
Celebrate 60 years of America's favorite muscle car at Live Casino and win a new Ford Mustang. Earn entries daily and enjoy revved-up specials across our restaurants and bars all June. Cruise in Saturday, June 28th, and be one of 25 players to win cool trips, hot prizes, or a new Ford Mustang. Hit the gas at Live Casino at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from driveeasymd.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at driveeasymd.com.
What makes the Costas Inn so special? This is Stan the Fan telling you that it's the people that work for you, cooking and serving. But that menu is also special with a capital S. Soups, salads, the raw bar, pasta dishes, seafood specialties, and entrees like the Costas Combo, steaks, chops, ribs, amazingly delicious meatloaf, and all manner of delicious filling sandwiches including pit beef and turkey and subs. Of course, the steamed crabs are as good as you can get anywhere, and they serve them 12 months a year. The crab cakes are out of this world. Costas is open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at 4100 North Point Boulevard, and coming soon, very soon, Costas in Timonium at the OTB Parlor at Timonium Racecourse. We'll get you the opening date real soon.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun, instructional programs for the beginner golfer to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level. Enroll today at baltimoregolfacademy.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along. Doctor, I need you in here. All right. One of my favorite. I really like Dr. Ferrer. So, as you guys know, I've been talking to you for the last couple of weeks. Right, you're right here. I've been talking to you for the last couple of weeks. I made a trip over, I want to say like a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, to Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills. And frankly, I was a little bit worried that I was low T. I just a little bit sluggish. I'm a little bit older. I'm a little bit. I said, maybe that's what it is. Like, maybe that's the answer. I'm going to slide this microphone a little bit closer to you, Doctor, if you don't mind.
I'm not tall enough, huh?
No, it's just you have to be right in front of it. It's the broadcasting thing. So I said, maybe I'm low T. And so I got a test, and I'm sitting in the office with Dr. Ferrer, and they bring in the slip of paper, and she actually starts laughing. And she says, yeah, the funny thing is you're not low T.
At all.
Like, even a little bit. And I said, oh, okay, well then I don't know what to do. And she said, well, let's talk about that. And so I want to welcome into studio this morning Dr. Candace Ferrer from Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills. It's wonderful to see you.
Oh, Glenn, it's a pleasure. Good to see you again.
I want to cover every layer of this, but I'm going to start with what it is that I'm doing. Because once you told me I wasn't low T, I was like, well, I guess it's okay. I'm just old. That's the way it's going to go. And you said, no, we still have a plan for what we could do to try to maybe make you feel a little bit more like yourself. Can you walk everybody through what it is that plan was and what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks that I'm telling you I am legitimately seeing some results from?
Yeah, so I just want to bring back, I laughed so hard because you really thought you were low T, Glenn. You just knew it. I mean, you said, I feel this way. It looks like this is the signs. I know something's going on. Maybe I need some tea. This guy's testosterone came back, and I'm like, I have not seen a number like this. I even asked you. I said, are you on something?
I thought my wife would be more impressed when I told her about. Not only that, but apparently I also had a wonderful prostate score.
Oh, a beautiful PSA as well. Yes.
And like I go back and say, look how lucky you are. And she was just like, yeah, whatever. Go grill something. I'm like, all right, fair enough. She was not impressed.
Yeah, no, but you're right. And then that's why these consultations is so important, because a lot of people come in and their first thinking is not always correct, and there's always something we can do. You weren't feeling your best. You thought something was wrong, so it's like, okay, let's dig into your symptoms. Tell me more about what's going on. And one thing, Glenn, you honed in on was like this recovery. You just noticed that you wake up and you feel older than you should.
Yep.
But it wasn't T-related, clearly. Your testosterone was like a 20-something-year-old, you know?
Again, I can't believe how unimpressed my wife is. I can't believe.
But your joints and tendons, ligaments were saying something.
Yeah, not at all. They were like, nah, dude, we're not joining you there.
Yeah, so as soon as he told me this, I'm like, I know what we can do for you. And it was peptides. And a lot of people don't know about peptides. And remind me, did you know anything?
Nothing. Zero. You were speaking a completely different language to me.
Hopefully I broke it down to you, though, because you walked out of there understanding and you walked out of there with a plan and something you're doing right now.
So I'm about 3 weeks into taking peptides. It's very simple. I take one capsule every night. And you don't, like, it literally, I just put it right up in here. And then at some point I notice it's gone. Like, that it just dissolves more or less. And can I be honest? Are we in a safe space?
Please.
When we decided to do this, there was a part of me that was like, I don't know, man. Like, what I was really thinking was, this can't hurt. Like, this isn't going to make anything worse. So, whatever, I'll go along with it. And I remember saying to you, because, again, I was a little, I don't know what I'm doing here. I remember saying, hey, what am I going to notice? What's going to be a measuring stick for whether or not this is working? And I remember you saying, like, well, it's different for everybody, and you might notice this. And I said, oh, I'm probably not going to notice. I was trying to cheat. Like, I want to pay a little bit closer attention. Like, maybe this will just be a placebo effect, but it'll make me feel like. And what happened was, and I said it, like, it's funny because I went out with a couple of my friends that I play tennis with on Sunday nights. We were talking about it the first week, and I said, I'll let you know, because they're actually very interested, and they're all in the same boat that I am. We're all in our 40s and feeling a little bit different. And, like, the first week I said, guys, I'm going to tell you, this is the first thing that I've noticed. Most mornings, when I wake up, I go through, like, a process of, and within the first week of taking the peptides, I, like, just got out of bed. And there was no production. There was no making. I was like, what the hell? Okay, maybe this is legit. And then I told you I played tennis last night, and we played doubles. So when you play doubles, you kind of have to crouch a little bit at the net when you're at the net. And I from having to be catcher to help my son's practice pitching recently, I'm the crouching part no good. I got down. I'm like, oh, okay, and I got right back up. And so I'm a believer. Can you explain what is actually happening to me?
Yeah, let's talk. I think the first question is, what is a peptide, and how is it different than medication? How is it different than supplements? The best way I can describe what a peptide, people are familiar with amino acids.
Mm-hmm.
So a protein is long chains of amino acids kind of linked together. Everyone's familiar with protein, but not peptide. Think of a protein and you shorten that. It's a short chain. So short links of amino acids combined together forms a peptide. Now, peptides are like light switches. They're signaling molecules. They talk to certain parts of the body and tells it to do things. Turn it on, turn it down. And one thing that you're on is the growth hormone peptide, so the HGH peptide.
Which is not a steroid.
Correct. Thank you so much, Glenn. We are, and it's not even growth hormone. We're not giving you growth hormone, right? We're giving you a peptide. So we're telling your body, your pituitary gland specifically in your brain, hey, you used to create a little bit more of this growth hormone and you felt better, you slept better, your joints were better, your muscle grew better, your fat loss was greater when you had more of this more of this hormone. Do it a little bit better, and that's what you're doing here with this peptide. You're making more growth hormone.
I love it. I feel very good. I like everything about it. I say all of this to say, Dr. Ferrer, that it's not just peptide treatment, obviously, that you do at Game Day Men's Health.
No.
And can I make sure I have this right? Because I don't think we talked about this when it first started. People can just come in and get a testosterone test?
You can just come in and get a testosterone test. And it's important. A lot of people don't know their little T. They think they're good. They're the opposite of you. They come in and think,
I was like, honest to God, I was like, at least I'll get an answer. At least I'll know why it is that I don't feel right anymore. And then I like, you can just make an appointment.
Yes.
And come in and say, I'd like to know. I'd like to know the answer. I talked to you about this because I'm looking at two 20-year-olds right now who are just like, I'm good. Like, this is not a concern for me. I've got all the tea in the world, right? But like, when do you start to – because I know it's not just testosterone, it's ED,
right.
It's
weight loss.
When is it that, like, someone says, hey, I don't know that maybe – is there something going on here? Like, what is about the age where this starts to be a conversation?
When you're asking yourself, hey, is there something going on here? Yeah. Because it may not, you'll be surprised. I've had 26-year-olds walk in, and your T is double theirs.
Really?
100%.
Really?
Yeah. We're not just talking about, very obese men or men who just sit on the couch and eat chips all day. These are men who think they're living relatively okay, and they're not. They're not.
So walk me through, what would testosterone treatment look like? If that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
If I was... And I'd say that because I know three of the big things that Game Day Men's Health exists for. A couple of things that I would say. This is Glenn Clark speaking now, right? I'll let Dr. Ferrer. I have described it as sort of a safe space because we as men, and I acknowledge this, and I think it's unique, particularly when I'm not old. I know that. I joke about being old all the time. I know I'm not actually old. I'm 41. I'm still very much in my prime. On the back end of it. But, like, I'm very much in my prime. And I say all the time, what we're going through, we don't like talking about it with other dudes. Like, I get together with my buddies. I don't like being like, hey, by the way, I don't feel like a man. Like, I feel like crap. I don't like talking about it. I know I have a million friends that are my age. Not one of them has ever spoken to me about, like, performance issues in the bedroom. And the math says someone that I have lots of friends that are my age. Someone in that group is dealing with performance issues in the bedroom based on math alone, and yet none of them have ever brought it up in conversation.
Just the statistics alone.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's a guarantee. So the first thing I've said that it's the safe space. It's the let's go back and just talk. I didn't know you the first time that we chatted, but I told you honestly, like, here's everything that's going on with me. Like, because I needed to tell somebody. And that's the first thing that I liked about Game Day Men's Health is it gave me an opportunity to speak about these things. And it doesn't – you are a doctor. I want to make this very clear. Dr. Ferrer is a doctor. But it doesn't feel like when you go into a general practitioner's office and it all kind of feels – I don't know, like too much like a hospital, too much like it doesn't feel personal.
Sterile,
yeah,
cold.
Thank you. That's a great. So that's the first thing I like about it. But I know the big functions are for ED, testosterone treatment, and then weight loss. Can you walk me through what that might look like for someone who's struggling with when when I was a younger man, I could get belly fat off much quicker. It's taken longer. Or someone who is saying, yeah, I don't know if I've got ED, but I know there's a problem at this point.
Yeah, well, first, I want to thank you for pointing out the safe space part.
Yeah.
It really is. And, I mean, let's be honest. Let's be real. I'm a female working with men who are talking about very personal things, right?
Yeah.
So my goal is, before I even start talking about anything, is, hey, let me get to know you. I want you to know a little about me and why you can be safe here, why this is a comfortable. I speak with men there's nothing you can say that I haven't heard, right? I say that to my guys all the time. And also, just to make it clear, I am Dr. Ferrer, but I'm actually a nurse practitioner with my doctorate. So I just wanted to make that clear to the audience. There are medical doctors that I think doctor title you automatically assume. Yeah. But I am a nurse practitioner and practiced for many years, and I have found Men's Health to be it's my safe space. As crazy as that sound, but it's one where I feel like I can practice without the sterility, the coldness of medicine. You know, I think men aren't looking for that. So I really think they feel more comfortable just saying, hey, I want to know I'm talking to a human.
You don't feel like you're in a doctor's office when you're there. It's the best way I could describe it. Like, I sat in even the waiting room, like there's snacks and there's
a big screen TV and leather
sports on,
sofas.
and I pulled my laptop out and I'm just like sitting there getting some work done and like hanging out listening to music, and it just doesn't feel that sterile is such a good word for it.
Yeah.
Like when you go to a doctor's office, you just don't even want to be there. Like, you just feel like it's a place that you want to get this over with as quickly as you possibly can. And that is not the vibe.
Not at all.
When you walk into Game Day Men's Health. So I wanted to say that first. But yes.
Thank you. Yeah, so once we get to know each other a bit, the consultation is the most important part. And where we go from there is based on what you're saying. You know, I have guys come in, they're complaining about weight. So we're like, okay, let's talk about, you know, what options are here. But my biggest, and I think what Game Day, Owings Mills, Frederick specifically, education is power. A lot of people don't know they're feeling bad until you explain what good feel like and what they should be feeling like. And I've heard what you said, Glenn, about I'm just getting old. And they're 40-year-olds, and I'm like, if you're old, I'm old, and I'm not old. So, and I think I told you that. I believe that, Glenn. I believe we're right here. We're peers, and I refuse to call us.
You did say that, right?
You know, but I think when you have lived, you get so comfortable feeling sick that you forget what feeling good feel like. That's pretty much where we start, is when did you start feeling like you were breaking down?
Well, and I don't think people realize how much that affects you in other aspects of your life. Like, it's one thing to say, and I say this with my general practitioner, who, by the way, I didn't have one, and we had that. Dr. Ferrer and I had that conversation too, and I now have one, and I went and saw him last week.
I'm proud.
And we had that conversation where I'm like, I just feel like I can deal with certain things, right? And it's important what you say, because you don't realize how it impacts you. The thing that you're just like, I'm tough, I can deal with it. You don't realize when you might be taking that out on someone else. What you're dealing with, you're then taking out on your partner or your kids or in your job, right? Yeah. Like Griffin's been saying, go to a doctor, man. Like, stop screaming Griffin. At me all the time. Like, go to a doctor. But no, it's real.
Oh. I mean, it's not your fault. It's society. Society did that to you guys. You know, as a woman, I can say that with confidence. Society definitely.
Yeah, we're just supposed to be tough. We're just supposed to be tough. Just deal with it.
You know, you're the only one going through this, so be quiet, tough it up, and just push through. And this is how you get a bunch of men with no quality of life. You know, they may live long and they may have quantity. They live to their 80, but they're miserable since they were 40, and it's like, that was your prime time, and you threw it in the trash because you were scared to speak.
Let me ask the questions that I know someone's asking right now, right?
Yeah.
I come in to see you. You say you're low T, or I think you should go through an ED treatment. Their first question is going to be, well, how much is this going to cost me? Does my insurance get involved? Like, they want to know. They want to know the nitty-gritty, because it's, again, oftentimes for men, this is like, I don't feel so great, but if it's going to cost me money, I'll suck it up, right?
You got it. Yeah.
Can you walk me through some of that?
Yeah, I think the first thing is the insurance conversation. We're able to nip that in the butt really quick, and I'm gonna have this conversation without. So I did primary care for years. So let's be real. I build insurance. I did all the codes, and fought with insurance companies about getting things covered. I know how it works, and how can we say this? We're not very proactive in our medical system right now. We're very reactive. We wait till you get sick. We wait until there's a disease process rearing its ugly head. And not just wait till there's a disease process going, wait until it's so severe that now we have to intervene with surgery, medication. We're talking preventative health, right? When you're coming to me, you're saying, I don't feel good, but I'm well. I don't have diabetes. I don't have high blood pressure. So I must be okay, right? Because my doctor said I'm okay, but I don't feel okay. We're talking prevention. We're talking, hey, you're knocking on the door of having a disease. It just hasn't shown yet. And they're waiting for you to get sick enough. I'm waiting for you to come and tell me you don't feel right so that we can prevent you from getting sick. So right out of the back, insurance tend to not really get involved with things like this. If you're not sick enough, good luck. You know, you're going to be out of pocket, which is sad to say. I hate that about this field, you know, because you do have to have some disposable income to be able to kind of jump ahead of this. Not always, but let's pretty much to come to game day, right? We're cash based. But so once we get past the hurdle of insurance companies not getting involved, then the conversation is how much is it? And I'm like, well, how much are you willing to invest in your health?
Yeah, it's a quality of life conversation.
Yeah, it's
right,
the quality of life conversation. Like I'm not your spouse. I don't do finances with you. I can't answer that question of whether or not this is a good idea for you, because you have to really have that conversation with yourself and whoever else pay your bills, you know. But it's what you're willing to invest in feeling better is the conversation where I go. I don't like to talk money, I'm going to be honest.
But it starts with that complementary testosterone test. Come in, get your testosterone test, and then we'll go from there, right? Yeah. And figure that out.
And then you'll know how much you're willing to invest in that. You know, you get some answers, you get some education. Then maybe it was just you didn't know enough, and now you're like, hey, 300 sound like a lot when I walked in this door. But now that you're saying I can feel so much better, 300 I can spend in a restaurant on a date with a girl easily, you know. So you start looking at money a little different when you start putting it to your health.
I highly recommend making the phone call or visiting GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
Yeah.
GameDayMen'sHealth.com for the Owings Mills location, 443-264-4454. Just make the call. Just say, hey, look, I just want to talk about it. I just want to come over and have a conversation. I don't know yet where I am, but there's something going on, and I'd like to come over and have a conversation. And that's where everything starts.
That's the start.
And I would tell you, I'm only starting the process, and I've already seen the results. I've already seen a real impact from it.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Dr. Candace Ferrer.
Glenn.
It's great to see you. I look forward to coming back over to see you on your home turf. And we will continue to discuss how it is that we can help men reclaim their game and feel like men again at Game Day Men's Health.
Thank you so much
for stopping in and seeing me.
Thanks for having me.
Come back in, talk some NBA Finals next. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
What makes the Costas Inn so special? This is Stan the Fan telling you that it's the people that work for you, cooking and serving. But that menu is also special with a capital S. Soups, salads, the raw bar, pasta dishes, seafood specialties, and entrees like the Costas combos, steaks, chops, ribs, amazingly delicious meatloaf, and all manner of delicious spilling sandwiches, including pit beef and turkey and subs. Of course, the steamed crabs are as good as you can get anywhere, and they serve them 12 months a year. The crab cakes are out of this world. Costas is open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at 4100 North Point Boulevard, and coming soon, very soon, Costas in Timonium at the OTB Parlor at Timonium Racecourse. We'll get you the opening date real soon.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now, and on the cover, Luke Jackson looks at the long road back from Tommy John surgery for Orioles closer Felix Bautista, as well as Kyle Bradish and Tyler Wells. Also inside, we learn more about new Maryland basketball coach Buzz Williams from the players who have played for him at other stops. Plus, evaluators around baseball chime in on Orioles top prospect Samuel Basayo. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Need a trophy or award that's as unique as the achievement? Look no further than Crown Trophy. With locations in Owings Mills and Gaithersburg, they specialize in custom trophies, plaques, and medals for any occasion. From sports and academic awards to employee recognition and corporate gifts, visit crowntrophy.com today and let them help you create a lasting memory for your school, team, or business. Crown Trophy is a proud supporter of the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association. crowntrophy.com.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCR as we are beginning to wind things down for a Monday edition of the program. Thanks again to Dr. Ferrer for stopping by. And this is very genuine. This is something that I am doing, and it is improving my life. And I would encourage you to make the phone call or, again, to visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com and get your complimentary testosterone test. Again, the number for Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, 443-264-4454 for Game Day Men's Health. All right. NBA Finals are set. As we told you, we will be at Sports and Social Inside Live Casino and Hotel for the NBA Finals. Pacers, Thunder. Game 1 set for Thursday night. Joining us now, the pride of Coppin State. She, of course, part of coverage on TNT and NBA TV. She is Stephanie Reddy, and she's back with us on GCR. Stephanie, it's Glenn. It's always great to catch up with you. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. How are you?
I'm all right. Stephanie, I know why, right? But and I know you certainly don't have nothing to do with Las Vegas and how they make their decisions. But it almost feels disrespectful to me that there could be an NBA Finals. That any two teams could be playing in an NBA Finals, and that one of them, no matter the circumstances, would be a minus 750 favorite. That is wild to me. And I think we all agree that Oklahoma City is the best team and deserves to be favored, but I don't think this is just open and shut. I think the Pacers have something to say about this.
I totally agree. Obviously when you look at matchups on paper, as they say, are you going to go chalk or not? When you fill in your tournament bracket, you expect there certain teams will win. But the beauty of professional sports is it's a series. It's not a one-off, right? And a lot of things can happen in a 7-game series. Obviously, the Thunder are very, very good. They've been the best team in the league on paper the last 2 years when you look at their record. They have the MVP. They have the depth. They have the defense, right? They check every single box. You need a superstar, got it. You need a closer, we got a couple of those. You need a defensive wizard at the rim, we got it. You need defensive on the perimeter, we got that. They literally check all the boxes. They're a team first group. They're unselfish. They play the right way. They are well coached. There is nothing wrong with that team. It is hard to poke holes, and that is why all this regular season, the only negative thing you heard people say about the Thunder was they lacked experience.
Right.
Oh, well, they're still young. They're really good, but we'll see how the playoffs go. I don't trust them. That's all because they're so good. However, the Pacers have that je ne sais quoi. They are fierce. They have a chip on their shoulder. They think nobody respects them. And you even heard Tyrese Halliburton talk about it on Inside with our TNT guys post-game. He was like, it's not just me, because, they think that it's only Tyrese because of the whole underrated player thing where the NBA players voted him the most overrated player. He said, it's not just me. We all feel that way. He said, even the coaching staff feels that way. So when you have a group of professionals that are good at what they do and they have a galvanizing reason to play together and to play hard. They're very, very dangerous.
Is there at all still a question about how the Thunder handle being in – like they've never been in this position before in the finals, or have they been battle-tested enough to this point, even going back to last year, having to play a Game 7 against the Nuggets? Is that enough for us to say, yeah, there's nothing that's going to happen just because it's the NBA Finals that's going to make them any different than what we've seen to this point?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that they've proven themselves. And, you know, this playoff run they haven't faced a ton of adversity, let's be honest. I mean, they've kind of walked through it just because they're that good. But I do think that because of the way that team was built and how they all developed together, they had all of their adversity along the way. Do you know what I mean? This was not one of those super teams that was built with 3 superstars. Mm-hmm. And because they're so good, they're just going to figure it out. Like, these guys grew up together and they figured it out together. And that's why they trust each other so much. I think that's why they're so dangerous. I would say that they would be the favorite for sure, but I just would have a hard time counting out the Pacers. I love people that believe in themselves and that are true to themselves. Both of these teams play their way no matter what. They don't care who the opponent is. Like, the Pacers are going to run no matter what. They don't care.
Right.
And I love that.
Is there an answer for the Thunder's defense, though? Is that ultimately the trump card here? Is that, like, that defense has just proven to be so impenetrable that that's why it is that we're all struggling with the idea of a team winning 4 games against them?
Yeah, I think that is it. I think that's it in a nutshell, because they have so many people they can throw at you. You know, they have like all defensive caliber players at like 5 different people. You know what I mean? Like, they can bring them off the bench. They can double team you with them. They can set up a wall and they still have Chet at the rim. Like, they have so many different ways that they can play you defensively, and they're all effective. And it can change from game to game, as we've seen them in this playoff run. So I think that is what's so dangerous, is that they're hard to prepare for on the offensive end. But again, playing devil's advocate, looking at the Pacers, I think that's probably their advantage because they play so fast. They like to get down the floor before defenses are set. So I think that is what they're going to I think you're going to see some super fast basketball from Indiana. I think they know that. They're going to get down there and get going.
Mm-hmm. That makes all the sense in the world. Stephanie Reddy with us here on GCR. Stephanie, on the flip side, right, like what is you bring that up, what would the roadmap be for Indiana? Like, what if they're going to win this somehow, what does it look like? What are they doing particularly well? I'm guessing it's like some of the shooting that we saw, particularly from Neesmith, and then like how are they pulling this off if they're going to do it?
Yeah, shooting for sure has to be part of the equation, and that's across the board, right? Just in today's NBA. But I think, I don't know if your listeners watch TNT, probably not as much as I do, but I'm sure that everybody watches. And Ernie made such a good point, Ernie Johnson, talking about Pascal Siakam. Remember he brought up like the every other game stats of Pascal Siakam, and this was an even numbered game, so they were expecting a really good showing, and sure enough, it happened. They need the even numbered game Siakam every night.
Yep.
That's what they need. And they need Miles Turner to have a complete Turner game, right? Like, he's so good offense and defense. He can shoot the 3. He's good in the paint. We need a complete Miles Turner productive night every night, right? He needs to check all the boxes. And, Tyrese is just going to do what he does. He orchestrates. He facilitates. He can do so many things. And because he's so unselfish, he hits the hot hand all the time. So whoever's hot, he keeps them going. If they need something to get going, he will take it. I think those are the pieces to the puzzle that will help the Pacers find success.
How annoyed are you by the, talk about the market size or, what the ratings are going to – this is the dumbest conversation that I've – imagine being I'd rather there be worse teams because they're in bigger markets. it's so mind-numbingly stupid, and I also don't believe it. Like, I think that we see this in the NFL where, like, you know, the networks constantly throw the New York teams at us, and then you see that, like, you know, if you put a Baltimore-Cincinnati game on a Thursday night, it's still going to deliver bonkers ratings because people just really like the product. I think the ratings are going to be just fine for the NBA Finals because they're, you know, the NBA Finals. But, like, how infuriating is that conversation to you? Because, as you can imagine, it has just made my brain hurt over the course of the last week.
I do not like it. You're exactly right. It's one of those things where I think there's a handful of people that actually care about it. You know, it's a great conversation piece. But, you know, the marketing executives obviously care. You know, the people that are selling ad time, they obviously care.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because those are quantifiable things. But if you're a true sports fan, give me a break. Like, do not, please. I don't want to hear it. I want the best possible matchup.
Yes.
I want 7 games. You know what I mean? Like, I want it all. And it's the same thing with the whole tanking philosophy. That drives me crazy, too. Are you a competitor or not? I don't want to hear crap about, oh, we're going to try to lose this year on purpose so we can get a draft pick and then win in the future. No. We are here to compete. Every night I want to try to win. Every season I'm trying to win. And I'm not one of those delusional people that thinks I'm better than I am that year. But whatever I have that year, I'm maxing it out and I want to win. So yeah, I hate it when they talk about marketing.
I actually go a step beyond this, which is, to me, as a fan, like as someone who gets to be a neutral observer, we don't have obviously a team in Baltimore, but like, I like Aaron Wiggins a lot from his time at Maryland, so maybe I'm semi-rooting for the Thunder, even though his minutes have been limited in the playoffs. But like, as someone who's a neutral observer, this is awesome. It's new teams. It's stars that we're getting to know more. You know, like Tyrese Halliburton has shined with all of the media attention that he's gotten. He has been wonderfully likable, and so has SGA, right? Like, these guys have looked like guys that you want to have as among the faces of the NBA as we move on from this era of LeBron and Durant and Steph in the coming years. Like, to me, this has been wonderful for basketball and for the NBA.
Agree.
It's the exact opposite of, like, everybody pointing out that it's a problem. I think it's been a marvel and kind of a revelation for the future of the NBA to see these new stars get the opportunity to shine like this over the last few weeks.
I totally agree. And there has to always be the passing of the torch. It has to happen, right? And so you want the game to be in good hands. And this series is exactly that.
Yep.
You are seeing the young stars coming into their own, and it's perfect. I think it's perfect.
It's really, and the really likable part really stands out. Like, they are really likable on both sides. Like, the Thunder doing the thing where they all stand around for interviews, right? Like, that's cool, man. Like, it's cool to see as someone who's just an observer. I dig it. Stephanie, I do have to, and I'm not trying to get you to cry, but I'll tell you, I damn near did on Saturday night. You brought up Ernie. Holy smokes. Like, that was...
Oh, I know.
It was just pitch perfect. I know that obviously NBA TV continues, and I know that Turner, inside the NBA, will continue, but can you speak to a little bit of your emotions seeing that scene on Saturday and, like, what it has meant to you to be a part of TNT's NBA coverage, which, as we all know, is, like, literally about as good as anyone covers anything in all of sports?
Yes, I would agree with that. It's the creme de la creme. It is the best. It is literally my dream job. I mean, I grew up playing basketball. I was lucky enough to coach it before I got into television. And I spent my entire life watching sports on television. That's how we were raised in my house. And, you know, I'm going to date myself with this, but, you know, we had multiple televisions, right? But there was the one in the living room that you watched.
Mm-hmm.
And on Sundays, you were watching football or you were going outside to play, period. That was it. That was your option. If there was a fight on Saturday night, you were watching that, or you were playing board games with your sister in your bedroom. Like, you know what I mean? There was no option. The house I grew up in, we watched sports, we played sports. That was it. So I am kind of like a sports broadcast connoisseur, if you will. I've spent a lifetime studying it. And TNT's coverage of the NBA is the best by far. of any network of any sport. They do it the right way. It is the perfect blend of accuracy and fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it is like you are getting the facts, you're getting all the stories that go along with the facts, and you're getting people's true, genuine personalities and what all of that entails. And that's what I always loved about watching their coverage. And so when I was provided the opportunity to come on board, and I've told this story a couple times, my agent called me and I was driving. I was in Charlotte working for the Hornets, and I was driving back to my house at the time. And I almost had to pull over because I was so overcome with emotion. And I felt like a Disney princess. Like the birds were talking to me. Like, everything was just so good in that moment that I didn't think that my life could get any better professionally. So yes, it is rough to think about that it is coming to an end. Not just for me personally, but just as the entity goes.
Yes.
You know, it's going to be difficult to watch how it goes, how it plays out. I don't know. I'm certainly going to miss being able to work with everybody the way that we have over the last several years. But, you know, it's like any other great team. You forge friendships that you expect that will last a lifetime. So
I appreciate that.
It's bittersweet.
Steph. I appreciate that. Oh, it's bittersweet for all of us that are fans. Like, I have a lot of feelings about, like, maybe the NBA has dropped the ball on this and failed to recognize the significance of the connection between this network and this league, which has been a constant for so many of us.
Yeah.
Stephanie, when are we seeing you? Where are we seeing you? What's life look like for you the next few weeks and months?
I will be covering the finals for NBA TV. So games 1 and 2, I will be in Oklahoma City doing, covering the pressers, the media availabilities, and doing live hits on NBA TV. So
Excellent.
That should be really fun. I'm excited about that.
Stephanie, you're the best. Always appreciate you. Thank you for taking time for us. Would love to do this again maybe as things are winding down. Really appreciate you hopping on this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Stephanie Reddy of TNT. I'm telling you, man, as I said, I didn't get to watch the game on Saturday night because I was at a concert, but as I was coming home, I started to see all of the my timeline was just blowing up with people reacting to the end of Inside the NBA on Saturday night, and that, like, Ernie Johnson tearing up, I was tearing up, man. Yeah, it's funny because, like, we just don't get to talk about it. Like, in a way, what's been cool for me still about being an NBA fan is I haven't had to be, other than the 2 years of my life, 2.5, whatever it was, that I worked in Phoenix, I spent most of my life just being able to love basketball and not really having to do it all that critically. So in a way, it's been kind of escape for me. It's the thing that I can still just be a fan of and not have to worry about, like, trying to hold an organization accountable or something. In Phoenix, I did that, obviously. It happened to be at a time where the Suns were very good, so it wasn't all that hard. And the NBA, Inside the NBA is, College Game Day is in the conversation. Those are the two. They're the only two sports shows that have really ever met. I mean, Sports Center, like the concept, but Sports Center died a long time ago.
Project Game Day postgame, yeah.
Right, Project Game Day postgame is very high on the list. I think most people around the country have said it's like College Game Day and Inside the NBA.
And then
Project Game Day is normally
and
the
then
way that
Sports
works.
Center.
Right, and then Sports Center.
Definitively.
Inside the NBA is the best show that's ever existed. And the reason why I stand it above College Game Day is because they're doing it with Hall of Fame greatest basketball players of all time. There is a cachet that comes from that doesn't even exist on College Game Day, with no disrespect to Kirk Herbstreit, who was
You're trying to say Kirk Herbstreit wasn't good at football?
He was a good football player. He was I have an issue with him because he never played in the NFL. He has no cachet doing the NFL stuff, but he was a good college football player.
And he just cares about college football.
Yeah,
clearly.
This is not me going war on Kirk Herbstreit. It's me saying that from a factual standpoint, you can't compare Kirk Herbstreit and, Desmond Howard would be a much closer. Desmond Howard was a giant in college football. Was truly one of the great college football players of all time. Desmond Howard does check a box in that way, right? But he's the only one of the group.
Obviously Pat McAfee.
Yeah. And it's not even me trying to be negative to Pat. It's just from a factual standpoint, he's not that. Even God bless him, Lee Corso, who's one of the most beloved television personalities of all time, wasn't even that great of a coach. He was okay.
But he did it a long time.
I understand. He was okay. From a cachet standpoint, the shows from an entertainment level and a quality of programming are about neck and neck, right? But the cachet that exists from inside the NBA, you were getting that level of entertainment and quality from the Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. And it wasn't always Shaq. Shaq came along, obviously, technically Chuck did too. That show started before even Charles Barkley had retired. But it became inside the NBA when Chuck and Kenny made it inside the NBA, and Ernie, the three of them. Mm-hmm. And then Shaq added... We were all convinced that this was, why would you do this? You're messing with gold. And Shaq, for everything that he has personality-wise, also likes to do he also likes to do the kind of mumble talk thing sometimes. And yet somehow
it worked.
Not only did it work,
Right,
it made the show even better. And the interactions between those guys, you couldn't believe that you got to do that. That era is largely over. You still get Hall of Fame football players that do the Sunday shows. Those shows suck. God, they are unwatchable because they are forced and contrived. It's just, we're having a good time. It's that. It is terrible shtick. And yet, Charles Barkley just saying the word Galveston.
Galveston?
Galveston, however he says it, it's just, I can listen to the Charles Barkley Galveston clip. We all still listen to that Steam Room clip. We'll listen to for the rest of our lives.
What about the San Antonio clip?
The big women in San Antonio.
Wolfing all them churros.
Yes. Forever. Dude, I don't know why, but this weekend everybody was sharing out the Steam Room clip again. I guess just because we were talking about it inside the NBA. It's the greatest clip in television history. It's a premise so perfect, and yet it's obviously rehearsed to an extent. It's obvious that they said, we're going to talk about this bracelet that Charles Barkley has on. Somebody knew the story, but they did it perfectly. What they were able to get is genuine reaction. Because what they didn't do, and it's something that I've attempted.
Do we want it, or is it?
Is this the Steam Room?
It's 3 minutes.
I don't think you need the whole thing. You can because I think the last 90 seconds is just them laughing, legitimately, which is wonderful still. But you can go ahead if you've never seen the Steam Room clip. It's from TNT.
Who made your bracelet? That looks like a great aggressive.
I got this bracelet from a guy in the steam room back in Arizona.
You got what? Time out.
Hey, Kenny, quit asking questions,
You
man.
got the bracelet from a
dude
guy in the steam room. Explain, please. Please explain.
I saw this guy wear this in the steam room, and I noticed the dark.
So what, did you ask him
Are
for
you
it?
kidding me?
And I did. We were talking. I said, that's a nice bracelet. And I said, I had never seen it before. And I asked him. I didn't ask him for it. So we get out of the steam room. We get him dressed. He comes over. He said, "Man, you can have the bracelet."
Wait, I had a question. Were towels on or off in the
Towels were on.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. Man.
Towels were on.
Okay, man.
Hey.
Yo, get out.
There's still one more part.
That is, yo, he got me up. He's like, ask him about the bracelet.
Wait,
so I didn't know the story. Oh, my God. Towels were on, Chuck.
Towels were on. But he was a real nice guy. He gave
Obviously, he was really nice. Oh, yeah. In the steam room.
And I guess
Was it a steam or a sauna?
This is sand. It was a sauna.
Okay.
You know
No, it was a steam room, actually.
How'd you see that in the steam room?
Bulldogs in the steam room and Bulldogs.
Oh, this is like sand from the Black Sea.
Yeah.
And this is.
You know what? Nobody's
Don't shout
listening.
him out his name.
Nobody cares.
America's Greatest Makers. That's a great bracelet.
There's one more
Man,
part.
y'all can't make me feel bad. We had our towels on. There was 2 men talking in the steam room. Y'all haters, dude.
I'm not saying him anything wrong. I just
You ever see yourself admitting, yeah, the guy in the steam room gave me his bracelet? I don't see that.
You don't tell nobody else that story, Chuck. Too late. You're too honest.
Y'all
man.
haters,
That's your
man.
problem, man.
One-
Hey, man, whatever your name is.
I don't even know his name.
I don't know his name.
And then he gave you a bracelet in the steam room as he was rubbing oil on your back.
so
You don't even
empty.
know
That
his name.
is the
Oh,
greatness
man.
of Inside the NBA. Was just you didn't know what was coming, and what made that great. What Kenny said was,
Speaking of coming,
That was a good one. That was a good one.
that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. What Kenny said there is perfect, which is some producer said to him, bring up the bracelet, but told him nothing else about it. Because it got that. Because if he had told the entirety of the story to everybody, you're not getting that. You're getting the yuck crap that they do on the NFL shows. The ha! That's what you're getting out of it.
what do you have against Terry?
Instead, it's not. No, he's in fact the only he's the most watchable part about any of those shows. All of those shows are a bunch of guys that aren't funny, that have no actual personality.
I like Gronk.
He's
not there a lot,
but they neuter him on that show.
Well, yeah.
Like they're trying to get the least. It's just controlled because we only have 1 hour and it's got to be tight and it's got to be buttoned up. And Charles Barkley going on when the show starts every night and complaining about because they're coming on after a West Coast game. And he's like, I don't care what we're off at 1 o'clock. I don't care. We're off at 1 o'clock tonight. Like, it was so real. And these people don't need to be doing this. Shaquille O'Neal could do anything he wants in his life.
Well,
he
he
is
does.
thank you. He is a one-of-one celebrity on the face of the planet. Charles obviously has become that over the years, right? Like when he started, he wasn't that. He was a famous basketball player. Shaquille O'Neal is one of the most famous humans that has ever lived. They don't need to do this. Do you know? This is real work. You have to go to meetings. You're not just showing up. Hall of Fame. Now, they get paid quite well to do it. I understand that's part of the reason why they do it. It's impossible that this show still exists in 2024. Like, impossible. 2025, whatever year we're in.
Basically.
And all of TNT's NBA coverage, it's so pathetic when you watch ESPN's. Like, I can't believe they didn't make this deal so that we can just get this during the finals. I don't ever want to sound negative towards these people. Like, I'm sure they're very nice people. But to go from this to, and now watch Kendrick Perkins and whoever happened to be in the studio that day.
You don't want to hear Greeny and
and
Windhorst
and Stephen A. Smith and Michael I like Michael Wilbon. I don't even want this to be like war on Michael Wilbon. He's a great guy.
But when he's your number one,
how do you the guy that used to be the GM of the Warriors, again, seems like a good enough guy. That's your counter to this? And it wasn't, you don't get the steam room every day. I'm not trying to pretend like you got that every time you tuned in, but you got something every time you tuned in.
Kendrick Perkins had
Again,
a long career.
Him just saying Galveston. That clip got me through a month. They don't even deserve to go to Cancun. They can go to Galveston. God. That dirty water. So good. Man, the NBA is really effed up here. I don't care. Sometimes it's not just about how much money can you get. It's about recognizing that you have, and I get it.
You don't think there's any chance it stays?
No, they're going to continue. Inside the NBA is going to exist
on ESPN. Yes,
allegedly produced the same way, and we'll see because ESPN has a way of screwing up everything. And as a lot of people have pointed out, like the concern is they're going to suddenly be like, well, hey, we need you to have Stephen A. Smith on Inside the NBA. We need you to have
Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah, whoever. Well, I know there's some.
Yeah, well, yeah, because Charles has been.
Yeah,
he's been calling him out, hasn't
between
he?
them.
But like, we need you to. We understand how you do things, but we could use a real debate segment in there. Could you do a contrived crap
Shaq versus Charles Barkley?
Yeah, like, but they inside the NBA would do that. I'll give you this example. Intern Jake is running our TikTok account right now, right? And I've said when we do content, I want to do content that's adjacent to something people are talking about, but is our own thing. And what you just said, like if the producers of Inside the NBA presented a debate segment, it would not be like I want to pass this off like you guys are legitimately having it. Like
we need you to say SGA's the greatest player you've ever seen.
They would openly be mocking the concept of a debate segment while doing their own debate segment. They would be making it their own thing, and that's what made them so good. Is they wouldn't just fall in line with the same crap everybody else was doing. They would do their own unique and great content. Oh, we will. I hope, I pray that it remains as independent as it possibly can. But god damn, were we lucky to have Inside the NBA in the form that we had it. It is a brilliant. And honestly, when you ask me like why the NBA over the NHL during the playoffs, it has something to do with this. It really does, man. Like, I'm going to sit down and watch the game, and I will never watch a post-game show anywhere else. But I always did over there. Always. Also, the ESPN broadcasts do like 2 minutes of content during halftime, which, to be fair, given the panel they have, like, and so that's another thing that people are worried about, like that if it's the Inside the NBA crew that's supposed to be doing the halftime during ESPN games, you're gonna get a wave. Like, even the stupid run to the board thing was always it always entertained me. I popped every time they did the dumb run to the board thing. Because you didn't know exactly when it was coming, and then somebody would trip, and like it was just great content. Damn, man, love that show. All right, we got to do the thing. It's already 12:30, and we still got to do the stupid thing. Yeah. Well, they actually won some games this week. So.
Jumping right into it.
Three up.
And 3
down. You were really hoping that Jake was going to do that with you.
Like he distracted me, and then I was
Let's go, Max. So. You were really hoping. You don't need to do that one. This one's done.
Okay, thank you.
You don't need to worry about that.
Charge.
3 up and 3 down for the week. The Orioles did win more of their games.
Over 500 week of the year.
Well, there were a few that were just 500.
Yeah, I think they went. Well, they
before
only, I mean,
really.
So obviously opening weekend they went 2-2 in Toronto.
Yeah.
And it was like,
all right, whatever. Let's just get to the thing.
They probably went 3-3 once.
3 up and 3 down for the week. I'll start.
It was not.
I guess you want to do down for.
Yeah. I just mean like they've only had like 2 500 weeks too.
Here are my down. I'll start with Cade Povich. She's number 3. It was particularly disheartening on Thursday because they did have the chance to win that series against the Cardinals. Now you're talking about, like, you haven't lost a series in a couple of weeks. Like, you had that opportunity, and you had a 3-0 lead, and you had a 4-2 lead, and he just turned around and yacked it up. Like, it was one thing that he was bad, and he was bad, but it was another thing. It was more disheartening because
did strike out, I guess.
Great. He was bad in a circumstance where you played a game that suggested you had a chance to win that and win a series and keep positive vibes going. So it was particularly disheartening. Cade Povich, number 3.
Yeah, I agree. The pitching wasn't really the issue this week. It was a very good pitching week. But yeah, Cade Povich did not have a good performance on that was Thursday. So yeah, Cade Povich was my number 3 as well.
There are a lot of options. This really, like, it would be easy to ignore Adley Rutschman because he only played in 3 games, but he went 1 for 12 in those 3 games with 5 more strikeouts. And then immediately, ended up with another day off. Like, that to me was almost as alarming as anything that, like, he just wasn't in the lineup at all yesterday after he came back. It's not getting better. It's getting worse.
Adley Rutschman still ends up being number 2, despite the fact that he only played in 3 games.
Yeah. Adley is also my number 2, so it sounds like you got this week right.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Good
Yeah.
job. But I mean, like it's hurting the team. Like and you see Arias batting second and actually doing stuff. Like I don't know what you're supposed to do. Like it is like with Kjerstad, we can at least say you can send him down when some guys get healthy. I don't know what you're supposed to do. I don't know.
I mean, somebody would say you send him down. That's what they would say. But I don't. Yes, they're not going to. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't know. At some point, you really do have to have that conversation. God, it's crazy.
I drafted him in the 3rd round in fantasy this year, and I just we had all these people on in spring training. They were like, Adley looks stronger.
He looks great,
right?
His head's we're so convinced that it was an injury thing last year. Look, the number one, I don't enjoy anything about this. I want this to work for Heston Kjerstad, but my God, is it not working? And the one hit he got, like the one, all right, maybe this will be the moment that, could get him going. It ends up somehow being even worse because it's one thing to get backpicked. It's another thing to get backpicked off third base with less than 2 outs in a close game. That's the type of stuff where you're like,
dude, yeah.
You can't be at the major league level. And then watching him attempt to play deep fly balls is just like it feels like you're watching someone who's not an outfielder. Like it feels like you're watching like them throw a catcher out there because they need somebody to play in the outfield. This is his natural position. And God love Jim Palmer. Like yesterday, he's trying to defend it. Like, that's a tougher play than you realize it is. And then I think we found out that it was a 95% catch.
Yeah.
Likelihood.
Which seemed a little bit like it did look like
it was a deep fly ball, but
play. I mean, yes, a major league outfielder.
I think it's only looks like a tough play because it's deep. I don't think it actually looked like a difficult play. That ball was in the air with plenty of time, and that's not the first one. There's been a few of those with Heston Kjerstad.
Yes. I mean, yeah, everything's Zach laid out while we were talking about it. The defense is so Heston Kjerstad is in fact number 1
with a bullet. On the up list, number 3 is where I put Zach Eflin. As we pointed out, phenomenal. 7 shutout innings, just 5 base runners. That's the Zach Eflin that we had come to know and love. I get it was the White Sox, but you can only judge the games that you played. And it's not like the lineup was doing a ton this week. Zach Eflin, number 3 on my list.
Yeah, he was my number 3 as well. I got it. There were like 4 guys, so it felt really tough to leave one of them off. And so I had to go with one of the offensive guys. And we're talking about the defense with Heston Kjerstad. Jackson Holliday looks really good. But I guess just because the glove could still use a little bit of work, but it's been so I left Jackson Holliday off my list. So
I did too.
But yeah, Eflin was number 3. Amazing performance from Eflin. Really great. Obviously, just the bounce back after a couple of he hadn't been all that great coming off the IL.
Yep.
So Eflin number 3.
Strong performance. Number 2. I can't believe I'm saying it. Dylan Carlson.
Oh, okay.
Number 2 on the list.
Dylan Carlson on mine.
OPS
I mean, it was
981.
It was
over
hard not to
20
put him.
at bats last week, and flashed some leather. Right, like a couple of nice sliding, diving catches from left field. Dylan Carlson looked really good, man. Like really, really good. Dylan Carlson was number 2 and flirted with being number 1 for me this week.
Carlson, I mean, that same category as Holiday, where it was hard to leave him off. I went with Ryan O'Hearn as my number 2.
Okay.
I mean,
Man,
every time. I mean, I smile every time he comes up to the bat.
Yeah,
now.
I get it,
It's
right?
like
He's
something good's gonna happen.
He's their
now.
hitter. Yeah.
Something good is gonna happen here. And I get a good feeling when he comes up and he delivers. So Ryan O'Hearn is my number 2.
And what a world we live in. Charlie Morton, easy choice for number 1 this week. Like, didn't really have to think about it all that much. Charlie Morton might end up in the positives somehow in the overall score for the year. Charlie Morton.
Well, he's got a lot of work. I had him as my number 1 the first 4 weeks, or my negative number 1 the first 4 weeks. He's got a lot of work to do for me. But this is a
look, man.
I'll take this again.
1.03 WHIP over 12 2/3 innings last week, while allowing just 2 earned runs. I get it. Like, it's not. It was the Cardinals and the White Sox.
Yeah.
Still, it happened.
Hey, he had to get Mike Tauchman out 3 times. Like that's
Charlie Morton.
Nobody else was able to do that.
Easy choice for number 1 this week in 3 Up and 3 Down. All right, very good. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought, and we'll get that up at glennclarkradio.com in a minute. Tidbit is brought to you today by County Sports Zone. CountySports.zone is the website. Everything you need to know about championship season. If you missed any of it, you can find out those results and information by going to CountySports.zone. It's proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com.
Kind of all over the place here. Yeah, we did. So we touched on Vanderbilt losing to Wright State yesterday. So they become the first number 1 overall seed to not even make a regional final. So because Louisville beat Wright State, and so that Louisville ended up winning the region. That Nashville region, but Vanderbilt didn't even have a chance to, they didn't win a game. So that was the first time the number 1 overall seed did not win a game, did not make a regional final in the college baseball tournament. So, yeah, that was pretty wild. I'm trying to because some of these I can save. Yeah, we'll do. Okay, so I want to do this one then. Do you know who is leading baseball? I don't know why I got.
You all right over there?
Yeah. You know who's leading baseball in home runs right now?
Is it Shohei?
Nope.
Then that's because it's
basically, I was going to ask you to name the top home run hitters currently in baseball, just because I know you don't watch baseball, so I wanted to see how many you could get.
I don't watch baseball. Is it Aaron Judge?
Aaron Judge is number 2. There are 8 guys with 16 home runs.
Is it Pete Crow Armstrong?
No, he would be 9th. He's got 15.
Bum. Everybody's talking about him as MVP. What the hell is that?
He still could. I mean, well, if it weren't for that guy Shohei, but
is it Kyle Schwarber?
Kyle Schwarber's 3rd. 19 home runs for Schwarber.
All
22
right.
for Shohei. 21 for Judge. 19 for Schwarber.
You said he was 3rd.
Sorry, I meant 3rd of the guys you've named. So 4th overall. You have not named the number 1 guy, and then there's 4 other guys with 16 that might be a little tougher for you as someone who doesn't watch baseball.
You keep saying that. Well, what about the dude in Washington? James Wood.
James Wood does have 16 home runs, so he's in the top 8.
Okay.
He's not number 1 in baseball though.
All right, chill out. Jesus, you. At some point, I'm just gonna have to start guessing guys. Javi Baez.
Javi Baez.
He's having a nice season.
He was red hot for a couple weeks there.
He cooled off?
Yeah, he's cooled off.
Okay. How about
He might not be a double-digit home runs yet.
Oh my. How about Corbin Carroll?
Corbin Carroll's in the top 8.
Okay.
He's not number 1 though. He's got 16 home runs, tied with James Wood.
Take it.
Tied for 5th.
Who's leading baseball on home runs? This is. I don't know. Tatis.
No, not Tatis.
I don't think it's
He's got
Machado.
13. Not Manny. Manny is having a really good year, though. Good for him.
I'm pretty sure it's not Ryan O'Hearn.
No, not yet. He's coming, though.
Right.
Actually, I don't think Ryan O'Hearn doesn't have the most home runs on the Orioles.
All right, let's do it Is it in the AL East?
No.
Is it in the AL Central?
No.
Is it in the AL West?
Oh, it
It's
is.
in the AL West.
There's another
Is
guy in
it?
the top 8 also in the AL West. So you got 2 AL West guys you got to name here.
Okay, are either of them Angels?
One of them is, yeah. Not the home run leader, but the guy in the top 8, 16 home runs this
Hell
year.
is hitting
for
home
an
runs
Anaheim
for the
Angel.
Angels. Pretty sure it's not Anthony Rendon.
He's close.
Yeah?
That is not Anthony
No.
Rendon.
I don't think it's Mike Trout.
Not Trout.
I don't think it's Zach Neto.
Not a big
Who the
home
hell
run.
else-
He's hit a few home runs this year, Neto, though. But no, not
Who else
Neto.
plays for the Angels? I'm trying to remember. Is it? Oh, who's there? Hoppy?
No, not O'Hoppy. He does have a few, though, this year.
Does
he's got
he?
14.
Good for
14
him.
for O'Hoppy, so he's top
Is
10.
it Shanuel?
Not Nolan Shanuel. He's more of a contact guy. He's not a big bopper.
Is it? Jesus Christ! Is it somebody that's just got there this year that
I think he's been there the last 2 years, maybe. Where was he? Oh no, he's always been an Angel. Wow, yeah. Why did I think that he hopped around?
Adele? Is it Adele?
No, not Joe Adele. He's been there. He's been a regular in the Angels when he's healthy, at least.
Taylor Ward?
Taylor Ward has 16 home runs this year.
Good for Taylor Ward.
Yeah,
got that going for him. But he's not the leader.
No, he's not. He has 16
Okay, is the
home
leader
runs.
also an Angel?
No.
Is it an Athletic?
No.
Is it an Astro?
No.
Is it a Mariner?
Can I get you to name the other guy first? That is Mariner. The home run leader is Mariner.
No.
Well, because now that it would have been a lot more fun if you named all the other guys and then we built up to him.
Mariner. It's a Mariner?
So we're going to see him this week.
It's not Randy Arozarena, is it?
No. He needs to pick it up, though, because he's on my fantasy team, too. So.
And it's not Julio?
Not Julio.
Who's that? Is it Cal Raleigh?
Cal Raleigh. 23 home runs.
He's at 23 home runs.
Catcher leading the league in home runs. Sarah
Mariner's
Lang's
not better than.
He is the third primary catch. They are pretty good. Well, they like kind of slow because they play in that stadium that you know where the offenses die in at Safeco T-Mobile Park. Sorry. Sarah Lang says the third primary catcher to have a share or lead or the full lead. He has the full lead of the MLB lead in home runs through June 1st in the wild card era. So who are the other two? Other two catchers to lead through June?
Mike Piazza.
No, not Mike Piazza. I don't effing know. 2021?
Perez.
Yes, Salvador Perez. There you go. Yeah, ended up co-leading for the all of baseball in home runs that year.
All right.
He also needs to step it up because he's on my fantasy team. And he is
He's like 70 years old.
Yeah, he was really good
right,
last
is that
year.
It? Are we good? Are we
2003, Javi Lopez also led through June.
Orioles legend, Javi Lopez.
Yes. And then the other guy that you didn't name, 16 home runs this season, Arizona Diamondback, teammate of Corbin Carroll.
Eugenio?
Yes, Eugenio Suarez.
Okay.
Eugenio Suarez, yes.
All right.
You see Corbin Burns got hurt yesterday.
No, I didn't.
It looks really bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he threw a pitch and then immediately waved everybody on, and you could read his lips. He said, "My elbow, it's done."
Oh no! No! See, they.
Mike Elias.
Here, you guys.
Mike Elias was banging pots and pans around town after.
Right. Yeah. You want to crucify me, huh? All right, can we please? It's 3:00 in the afternoon. I got to get an X-ray today.
Okay, everybody, it's going to be quick today.
What was the main focus today, Coach?
Fundamentals, ball control. It's always huge.
Any early thoughts on the competition this year?
Well, look, this is the best of the best players in the world. It's going to be an amazing tournament.
Tournament?
Yeah, the BMW Championship at Caves Valley. What are you guys talking about? All they ever ask me about is football.
Nothing is the answer. Nothing. There's no Orioles. There's no playoffs. This was supposed to be. There were 2 Game 7s that could have been tonight. Not happening. And most of the French Open action is done for the day. So all that's left is.
Oh, that's what I meant to ask. I mean, now that I know you want to go.
We really need to go.
While we were talking about studio shows, do you like how do you like TNT? Like
they've done
French
a
Open
decent
on
job.
TNT?
Here's what I'd say: because they're trying to do, we want you to watch both networks. It's been a little bit of a miss in that way, where like on TNT they're not cutting into in the early rounds when there's a big match that's like concluding somewhere else, like an upset. This is what ESPN's like, this is our number one. And so you can watch the featured match, but then we'll also be cutting in on other matches that you can watch on ESPN Plus. TNT, their studio has been very good, but
because these are all, I mean, like I saw Sloane Stevens was doing stuff.
yeah, they've involved
Query,
some
King.
high level. Yeah, Christopher Eubanks has been involved. Mary Jo Fernandez, who's great, has been involved. Jim Courier has been involved. Like they've had most of everything they've done has been.
Do you like Brian? Is Brian Anderson?
Brian Anderson's really assimilated quite nicely, honestly. And I would say, I think there's been a little bit too much happy to be here from Adam Lefkoe, but not.
That's what he always is, though.
Yeah, like. This has been it feels like he's trying to ingratiate himself. Like everybody knows I don't know anything about tennis, so like I'm going to try to make up for that by just showing how happy I am to be here. But it hasn't been distracting necessarily. Like he's quickly got it to the other people. They just need to. You're asking too much of a burden now in the cut the cord era. For people that are like, well, I've got to flip over. It's one thing if you're still on cable, it's easy to flip over to TNT or True TV.
Gotcha.
That's a lot to ask in the cut the cord era. This is where I'm watching the French Open. If something relevant is happening, get the 2 matches up on the screen at the same time. You can go right back to your featured match in that spot. But that's my recommendation for TNT, and I'm assuming that they're watching.
Right.
They know.
I'll send the email.
Yeah.
Not a lot left at the French Open today. Jack Draper is in a little bit of trouble here, in danger of falling behind.
What's the name of this guy's
Bublik.
Not Bublik.
No, Andre Bublik. No, sorry, not Andre. It's Alexander. Yeah. Jake, I believe, is what it is. I believe it's Jake.
Intern Jake Bublik.
Yeah, I believe that's the answer. I think it's Alex or Alexander Bublik. So Draper in some trouble. Anyway, still to come. There's just one match. It is a good one. Sinner Rublev this afternoon. So let's go, Yannick. These are two guys that I don't want either of them to win the French Open, but of the two, it's very clear which one's the obvious choice. And then baseball, and that's literally about it. FS1 Brewers Reds 7:10. MLB Network Mets Dodgers 10:10. Free game on MLB TV is Twins Athletics at 10:05. Netflix has WWE Monday Night Raw at 8. And then, of course, there's a bunch of, between the ESPN networks, the regionals, the deciding games.
Yeah, I think one starts at 3, I believe. I
believe
Carolina, whoever they're playing.
I don't typically include those, so.
Ben McDonald's going to have a call for the 9 o'clock. LSU plays at 9. So
Great.
If you need more Ben McDonald.
I love Ben McDonald. Non-sports?
Yeah, a few things. Season 17 premiere of American Ninja Warrior. On NBC. So
I wish I got into it.
When I was a kid, I liked it a lot.
For me as a kid, it was American Gladiators. American Gladiators was everything, man. This is just, I've just never gotten into it the same way.
Season 12 of Below Deck on Bravo. Premiere of the season 12 premiere. Yeah. You're not excited? Below Deck?
You know what I did watch a little bit of this weekend? And you're not going to believe how it is that I got convinced to watch it. I watched some of Sirens this weekend.
Oh, okay.
On Netflix. And I got into
seems
it.
Like good. It seems good.
Specifically because someone shared out a meme that was Millie Adcock in Sirens.
Someone shares out a meme. Glenn's like, I got to know what this meme means.
Can I see it?
Watch the whole show.
The meme is Jackson Holiday looks exactly like Millie Adcock in Sirens.
Yeah, you know what?
And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You're 100% right. And I don't know why.
I thought she looked more like Ethan Holiday.
I don't know enough about Ethan Holiday to be able to speak to this.
The same.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, I remember talking about how I like Julianne Moore. I don't really know Millie Adcock very well.
Kevin Bacon's in it.
And
Glenn Howerton.
And Glenn Howerton. I gave it a shot. I think I watched 3 episodes, and it's only 5.
Megan Fahey.
Is the other sister who was great in The White Lotus. The season that she was on that, she was very unlikable. But they all are. That's the point of The White Lotus. Is they're supposed to be unlikable, so that you're not rooting. You don't care who gets killed.
Don't too sure.
Yeah. Draper in some trouble. But yeah, it's good. It's not great. It's good. It's good. I don't hate myself for watching it, for spending time with it.
Brett Goldstein and Owen Wilson on Kimmel.
Plugging a new season of.
No. He's got a stand-up actually.
Oh, I'm sure that'll be really good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't want to do shtick there because I was really excited that maybe he was like. It was really going to announce that they're finally doing the AFC Richmond show. That
Owen Wilson's
said
doing that Stick, the golf show on Apple TV that comes out later this week.
No.
It's like a written TV show.
No,
about golf though. You love golf.
I keep getting fed Happy Gilmore 2 crap, and I'm like,
excited for that too.
You're not gonna watch that?
Not a chance in hell that I
How?
will watch
He hates
that.
Adam Sandler.
How?
No,
he hates Adam Sandler.
Dude.
No, we're not having this conversation.
We've done this before.
I
feel like we need to do it again.
I haven't had this conversation. How do you not like Adam Sandler?
No. That's the problem.
You don't like Happy Gilmore.
I loved Adam Sandler.
No, he hates Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler meant more to me than
he was
some
like,
family
I liked
members
Big,
did.
and
but now
that's
he's
it.
dead to you?
No, Adam Sandler.
He liked
has
Big, and
made
that's it.
No, shut up.
That's what you said.
First of all, Big was a Tom Hanks movie.
Big
Daddy is what you're thinking.
Yes.
Big was a great movie, but nobody really likes to deal with the fact that it was kind of about statutory rape. Big Daddy was also a very good movie. Adam Sandler had a run, and then he had the exact opposite of that, which is the single worst films ever made.
He thinks Grown Ups
consecutively. Grown Ups sucked. Grown Ups was awful.
No, it wasn't.
But in comparison to other movies, downright watch it. It's the best of the garbage that he's made, and that's saying something because it wasn't good. Little Nicky.
What's the garbage?
Why do they keep letting
Little
him make
Nicky
movies?
is one of the worst films that's ever been made in the history of time.
You gotta
It
go.
is a truly atrocious, offensive to the senses film.
Did you watch
and
Uncut
it's
Gems yet?
Not. Uncut Gems isn't really an Adam Sandler movie.
Yes, it is. He's
No,
the main
he
character.
acted in a Safdie Brothers movie.
Sure.
It's not his movie.
Who do you think taught the Safdie brothers how to make movies?
That's a great point. It was probably Adam Sandler. The worst movie, and the reason why I will never forgive him, I've told the story a million times, is finally, after all the years I did the Super Bowl, and by the way, I became like friends with members of his crew. Peter Dante and I are still friends. They would always bring other peripheral people around. They made me put Vanilla Ice on the show.
Nice.
They made me put and then finally one year they're like, hey, you can have Sandler this year. Yes. And I was,
how do we get back to that?
I was overjoyed, right? I was like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. And apparently it happened because
What, he stand you up?
a friend of, no, much worse. A friend of mine was in a movie with him.
Oh.
My friend Rex Ryan was in the film That's My Boy.
Great movie.
No.
I love That's My Boy.
You are.
We've done
We
this
need
before.
a new producer.
We've done this before.
That's My Boy is the single worst motion picture that has ever been made in the history
Go
of
watch
time.
Joker 2.
I
Go
would
watch the
Joker
new Halloween
2
movie.
50 times.
Those are the two worst movies I've
before
ever
I
seen in my
watched
life.
That's My Boy is the most offensive film
Vanilla
ever
Ice
made.
is in that one too.
Yes, painfully it starts with being painfully unfunny. But they decided that wasn't enough, and they were going to build to the crescendo of incest.
Good bit.
No, it wasn't a good bit. You knew it was somehow you were like, they wouldn't do that. There's just no way they would do that. And they just did it and never bothered to be funny in the process. It felt like a movie that was made as a dare. Will you drop me from my contract?
It's about the
I'm going to
performances,
make
Andy Samberg.
the worst motion picture ever made, and let's see if you'll allow me out of the deal that I have done with you. And that was the deal. I could have Adam Sandler on the show if I watched That's My Boy the night before.
So you canceled.
I am
because you were that upset about
no,
That's My
I
Boy.
just refused to ask anything about the film. I did what I had to do. I said, That's My Boy is hitting theaters. Let's talk about Chris Farley. That's what I did with my Adam Sandler interview. And I think I brought up something about Rex because Rex legitimately we were friends at the time. I refused to ask a question about the worst motion picture I had ever seen. And I
you can offend
am
Rex
a man
Ryan like that?
who had to watch Draft Day in order to have Jennifer Garner on my show.
I mean, Draft Day at least still.
In comparison, Draft Day should win Academy Awards. That's My Boy is the worst movie
probably
that's
about
ever
the
been
same
made.
level.
Ever. No.
TMB
I will
and
never
Draft
watch.
Day.
And I'll never go back and rewatch any of the Adam Sandler movies that I loved because I don't want to find out that they actually sucked and I was just young and stupid. I don't want to find that out.
So you're not going to watch Happy Gilmore ever
I
again?
think you'll like Happy Gilmore and Happy Gilmore
There's
2.
zero
Come on.
chance that I'll like Happy Gilmore 2. It
Why?
looks absolutely awful.
You're not even gonna give it a try?
No, not a chance in hell. It looks like we're not even trying here.
All right.
We're just trying for the mooks that'll just be stupid enough to say, hey, it's Happy Gilmore. I liked Happy
I mean,
Gilmore.
yeah,
We're going to do
obviously.
some content. It does not look like they're attempting to make an actual motion picture. But beyond that, I won't watch Happy Gilmore 1, which I liked at the time. But I won't do it because I don't want to ruin that. Leave the memories alone. I think that it was good. I'll leave it.
I believe it holds up.
Just
like all of them, for the record.
If you think that any of the films that I named hold up, Jack and Jill,
Classic. Classic. Come on. Who's doing that? Who else is doing?
You know how close friends
a
I am with?
twin-
I am close friends with Sean Salisbury. Like, he's one of the most important people in my life. And I had to yeah, buddy, congratulations. You're
Well, I didn't mean to make you
touching story.
Awful.
To be honest.
Awful.
I didn't mean to bring up some bad memories.
I've been inundated with crap Happy Gilmore, so I won't watch anything golf related because I'm just I'm fearful.
This one
of
looks
it.
good, though, Owen Wilson. That's how this came out.
I got something that'll make you happy.
What?
Guess where I went for dinner this weekend?
Where'd you go for dinner this weekend?
Chipperelli's.
You have a chip salad?
I did, and that is good.
Told you, dog.
That is good.
Told you. Did you do the thing I told you to do?
What'd you do?
You get one and you get another, and you put shrimp on the second one.
I didn't. I got
did you get the gnocchi? Everybody loves the gnocchi. That's the other thing. They have a gnocchi that.
Yeah, I guess I got to go back
rave
and try the
about.
gnocchi. We got the
gnocchi and the pesto pasta are like the two that people rave about.
I watched this movie. Maybe it's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. I never heard of it until this weekend. The Rock.
The Rock? You had never watched The
I
Rock?
never heard of The Rock.
It was
that movie's
The
so
Rock,
good.
The Rock was like the end of the Michael Bay. Like that was the last time before he just couldn't help himself. Like The Rock was frenetic, but it was still Like Sean Connery at his Sean Connery and Nicolas
amazing.
Cage at his Nicolas Cage.
Welcome
Actually,
to The
he was.
Rock.
I take that back. Nicolas Cage was not as Nicolas Cageiest in that movie.
Really? I mean, I guess
he really
you're
wasn't.
Right. I guess he was kind of
not,
under control.
Yeah,
but he
was
still sold out for everything.
Yes, he was still
Nick
great,
Cage.
but he wasn't as eccentric as Nick Cage
Right,
to be. They let Sean Connery be that in that film, and Ed Harris was amazing. Like the Rock still held together, and you still convince yourself that Michael Bay could make good films, and then you watch because I think Transformers.
I thought it was early
Transformers
Michael
was
Bay, wasn't
after.
he? Yeah,
but Armageddon was when you started to realize, oh no, what are we doing here?
What are you talking about? Bruce Willis almost brings you to tears.
Okay, so Armageddon's premise was stupid to begin with.
Well, yeah.
But there's a filmmaker that could have pulled that off and made it the right movie. They made
Nolan?
Maybe. No, not Christopher Nolan. They made a dreadful movie, but on top of that, it was just Michael Bay. Stop! I have to show you this other thing right now.
Steve Buscemi.
We have no time for a scene. You get 20 seconds, then on to the next thing.
An hour's passed. That's what they.
And he did it in Transformers, but somehow the first Transformers still worked. And maybe I'm realizing now that was just because we were all so drunk on Megan Fox that we didn't bother to notice that it didn't actually work.
I think I've only seen Transformers.
The second Transformers is when you realize, oh no, this is completely off the rails. And I remember having a conversation with, oh man, what are we doing here? Drab T-shirt, who was my assistant at the time, but now is the producer and he's the program director for 980 down in DC, and he's with the Junkies. And Drab and I saw Transformers 2. And we're on the phone afterwards because this is a thing that you would do. You would watch a movie and then you call each other to talk about it. And Drab and I are on the phone, and we're both like, yeah, we liked it. And then we're both talking about how awful it was. And then we're like, dude,
why'd they do
But
it?
we
Yeah,
liked
yeah.
it. It was just, you could see it falling apart in the second half of Transformers 2, where it's just I got to get to this other thing now. God, we did 3 hours.
Well, The Rock
I
is
hate
definitely
you.
peak Michael Bay.
Yeah, it's peak Michael Bay, and the last time it really worked.
It was so
then
good. I love Alcatraz stuff too, so
The Rock is a good one. It's a really good one. It's a really
why? Oh yeah,
It's
we're
on the
talking
list of
stuff we
there's 20 movies that my wife will watch. She just has
really.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, and it's weird.
Well, glad The Rock made. I mean,
and
it
The
definitely
Rock
deserves
is
to.
on
I don't know
that.
why. I mean, it should be taught in film school. I feel like that movie.
Settle down on all that.
Your girl Jean Smart and Governor Josh Stein will be on Colbert.
They are plugging The Rock.
Really?
They are.
Good.
But
I'm
the
glad.
wrestler, actually. They just have you heard of
maybe
the actor that you like? He used to be a wrestler. That's what they're playing.
And then congratulations, your house is going to be on HGTV tonight.
Oh?
Yeah, it's the season 6 premiere of Ugliest Houses in America.
Hey! Oldest, maybe. Our house is so old. Everybody's like, is it haunted? I'm like, probably. I don't know. I hear sounds all the time. They're like, do you think that's interesting? I'm like, nah, I'm kind of over it. It's just old. My poor kids are going to try to sneak into the house after they've been out drinking all night, and we're going to hear them. There's just no way to sneak into our house. It's so old.
Well, that's why you got. They'll just do in the horse stables. So
Yeah,
stay
that's
out
really what
there.
they should do. Is just
Yeah.
pitch a tent somewhere, sleep in the lawn, the yard. I'd never notice. There's so much space. Where are the boys? Yeah, whatever. All right, we can't do 3 hours. We're supposed to be.
We're not doing 3
Only
hours.
3 more
I know,
minutes.
We're
we're
supposed to
only
be
doing-
shortening the show.
We're only going
not
2:58
elongating
today.
it. Thanks today to Rob Long. Thanks to Zach Moore. Thanks to Stephanie Reddy. Thanks to Gregg Rosenthal, to Dr. Ferrer. We'll get it up in the greatest hits section of the
Galveston.
Great. Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Thank you for that. Tomorrow on the program.
We're gonna be joined in studio.
Yeah, in studio from the Maryland Whipsnip, who lost.
Yeah.
Lost. I blame the rain. Our guy Matt Rambo's joining us in studio, and the legend Rob Pinnell is joining us in studio tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Also, another new Terp, Rakeem Passmore, joining us tomorrow as well.
Rakis, yes.
Rakis, did I say Rakeem?
Yes.
Thank you. Stuff and things. The irony is he's a scorer, right? You're like, that doesn't make any sense. All right, so that's tomorrow on the program. Thanks today to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Game Day Men's Health, Live Casino and Hotel, the BMW Championship, Crown Trophy, Easy Pass, Baltimore's Classic 5 Golf Courses, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, the Costa Sin, Maryland Sports, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to intern Jake, who strangely you can follow on Instagram at
Alex Wilson _
It seems odd, right? It just seems weird that's.
But then it makes sense because your Twitter is.
Not Alex Wilson.
Oh, okay.
Not Wilson Alex. My fault.
Okay.
Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Monday evening. Go nobody. Duke sucks.